Are we going to do...
Go ahead, Biscuits. It's all you.
You want to clap? No, that's not what I meant.
Were you saying you have the clap? What are you talking about?
You know, we used to do that thing where
I'm glad I'm
show
recording.
Be like,
That's when we have to sync the... never mind. Just freaking do that.
I don't know.
Let me worry
Shut up.
about that stuff.
Hey, pass me a beer.
Look, at least promise me you won't drink. Alcohol always leads to trouble.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
You win.
All right, what do I win?
Another beer.
Just have a cup of coffee.
There it is.
Coffee?
Beer.
I'd kill for a beer.
Cheap beer and a sympathetic ear. Step right up.
all right, everyone. Well, welcome to the Bearded Hops. This is a Sessions episode. This is an episode where, I don't know, we're kind of just going to drink beer and...
There are no damn rules.
There are no rules, no outline. Pretty much just us getting
And at this point, they've already stopped watching.
inebriated. Yes, we just lost 75% of the viewers. They've switched to something else. Joining us tonight is Sean from DraftTherapy. Sean, thank you for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I think Sean is only the second person to be a repeat guest.
That means we like you, Sean.
I'm honored.
I think so.
Very honored.
And
Chad would remember it. My brain cells are dead from all the alcohol.
well, and we should say Chad will not be here tonight. Is Chad on his tugboat? Do we know what he's doing?
No, he's in Seattle for work.
I know. I just want to talk about his tugboat.
All right, well.
All right.
That's his actual tugboat, not a euphemism for anything, but just making sure.
Chad built a little tugboat. I'm not plugging your YouTube channel, though, Chad.
Whisco
if you're out
butter.
there. Oh,
I did it. I plugged it. Nah.
is he paying you?
No, not enough.
All right, well, let's just go around the horn. Let's start off, see what everybody's drinking tonight, and then we'll just go ahead and venture out there into the virtual beer world.
Talk about who knows what. Sean, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a year-old double dry hop, double IPA
Ooh,
from
year-old.
Ascension Brewing Company. Yeah, a friend of mine, they just re-released this last week, and he asked what I thought of it, and I said, well, I have 2 cans from a year ago in my fridge. I'll drink one tonight, and I'll tell you about it. So I'm drinking one. It's 8.2%. I don't know what the IBU is, if that matters. But
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's from Ascension in Novi, Michigan.
And how is it a year old?
It's not that bad. I just had it on Saturday. It was a little bit more bitter. I think it's got some Australian or New Zealand kind of hops in there. So it gets that kind of earthy flavor. But this is actually, I like it actually better because it's a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit too bitter for me off the tap, fresh. But yeah, it's not too bad.
So are you saying this is a beer you would actually, at least for your taste, recommend letting it sit for a year?
It's been in a fridge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, to each their own. For me personally, I'm not this is kind of almost on the edge of being too bitter for me when it's fresh. So now being a year, you get more of that malty, more of that sweet kind of flavor. So I would almost, if you like what I like, I would maybe recommend you hold on to it for a year. I mean, that's probably not good for the brewery. They'd rather you buy it fresh, but, it's not too bad. Had a lot worse, I'll tell you that.
Buy it fresh, drink it fresh, buy more.
Yeah. Right. I am drinking Bottom by Half Acre, which was recommended to us on the podcast that just came out this week from PorscheDrinking.com. Mike, right? Yeah, Mike Zoller. Yeah.
Correct.
He said this is one of his favorites in Chicago right now. Half Acre Bottom Pale Ale. And what is it? 6.7 Abivah. And this is canned on 5/16, and I love that on the bottom. I don't even know if it'll show up on the camera. I don't think it will. Not at all. It says, printed on the bottom, it says, "Oh, that's hot, Prince."
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe we can get somebody from Half Acre on here.
Oh, that's hot. It's got to be an inside joke.
It's got to be. Is it on the bottom of your can? By your can, I mean the can that I gave you.
Oh.
Okay, get off your phone.
Now I got to
no
get
etiquette
up.
whatsoever.
I was looking up the
Whatever,
beer
man.
that
Just
you
whatever.
gave me that I am drinking.
And since he's going to show...
dick.
What? He's drinking Hazy Rabbit. This is Lakefront. And I had that on tap while we were up there.
Yeah.
It does say that on your
Yeah,
side?
it says, ooh, that's hot, comma, Prince.
All right. Well, there we go. This,
Well,
not just me.
what if maybe this is like espionage? Maybe they're like passing. I don't know. Who knows?
Is it Prince, like Prince the singer?
That's what I'm wondering too. Yeah, is it
Is it supposed to be like those Dr. Pepper commercials or something, or it's a Prince quote? Or?
Maybe we found something. Maybe we should go ask the brewery if we get like a special tour.
Maybe we should just get them to come on the show.
Now I'm going to look it up. Maybe we need to tweet at them something like.
I'm just going to keep drinking right now.
Like, I've got your slipper. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I've got your slipper.
Well, print. I don't know.
I found your Prince. Is that the
Thoughts?
golden ticket?
Did you see the ABV of this one? 5.6
Of the rabbit?
of the Hazy Rabbit.
No. But man, yours is fresh.
That's real
Oh no,
fresh.
wait, no, it's not.
It's not.
Well, Best Buy. I thought it was like. Never mind. Best Buy July 30th.
Yeah. Well, I'm well within that range.
Oh, he has a born on date.
You know, go back to what you're saying though, Sean. Like, I think is it possible that the Best Buy is just more about getting people to drink and reload than really
I don't think
Buy?
I don't think so. I think it's what the brewer feels drinking by now, and it has how he intends it to taste. It doesn't mean you might like it later, but as far as his intent on how it would taste, I think.
I'm just wondering if like are they like a psychological marketing / hey, let's encourage.
Not
this
everybody's the
drinking
federal
so
government.
we get more.
Not everybody.
It's not that
is involved
not
in a
the
conspiracy
worst.
theory, and is not a Trump.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just
Everybody's
good
out to get
business,
Jake.
perhaps.
Everybody's out to get Jake.
Well, let's see, Sean. What do you think? Am I crazy?
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of
crazy.
You'll see that sometimes. I don't know if you guys notice. I've seen a few local breweries, and the breweries specifically that do this. These specific breweries, but a lot of places have the canned on or bottled on,
Right? Yeah.
just whatever. And then there's some that have the Best Buy date,
right.
and if you don't know that that's what they're talking about, and you look at it and you're like, this says it's like 6 months in the future. I mean, you could probably deduce that that's probably what they're talking about. But I find it kind of when a brewery tries to be a little bit different and they put the Best Buy date, that seems like counterintuitive and really confusing to me because it's. But yeah, I mean, is it something where they're trying to push more product to get more out the door? Is it actually going to go dead by the date if you don't drink it by then? I was listening. You guys you did a podcast with the guy from Untapped, Avola.
Yeah,
Is it
Greg
Mike Avola?
Greg.
Greg.
Avola.
Yeah.
And I think on that one, you guys were talking about, with CBS or KBS or whichever one it is, CBS, I think it is, that they say like, oh, you need to drink it within the year. Shelf life's 12 months. This is a barrel-aged beer. Like, isn't this something that they want you to kind of hold on to? We do verticals all the time. It's not like, you buy this, you drink it all, and next year I totally forgot what that was, and I'm never going to ever try it again. And
Well, didn't the head brewer like tweet it?
Do that? Didn't Founders tweet that out when they came out with their new version of CBS? They said
Yes,
if you're
I know
home,
Founders. Yeah, Founders has said on their blog in several places, like,
Our
drink
head brewer
this.
suggests you drink it by now. It's like,
Right.
really?
if you
'Cause
have
the new one's
last
about to
year's,
come
drink it
out.
now.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I think there is a bit of psychological play there.
Seattle. Yeah, that's
yeah,
2 against
I
1.
think,
We win. Woo.
Yeah, marketing.
Get your tinfoil hats on, kids.
Well, speaking of the craft beer industry, I mean, I think this is more or less common knowledge, but just some
been in the news, huh? All right.
stats that came out. Today's the 19th, right? I don't. I looked at
You
my.
are correct.
I looked at my watch, but there's no date on my watch. Like, what was I looking at? I don't know.
I don't know. Mine says it is.
So these came out yesterday, and according to so while overall Americans are drinking less beer,
depressing.
Brewers Association put out stats saying that in 2018, craft beer sales rose nearly 4%. And then what I liked more here is it said the Brewers Association also noted that brewer employment has more than tripled since 2010.
Hot damn, that's what I like to hear.
That's jobs.
Now, if I could only get a job, but I can't because I'm not a sales guy.
Well-
I couldn't even sell a fish water. Like, that's how bad I am.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
They need that.
they do. I know.
They need that thing.
And they wouldn't buy it from me. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Like they don't trust this guy's water.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't trust me either. Sean, you just passed a YouTube milestone.
Ooh, congratulations.
that's what I hear.
Yeah, 1,000 subscribers, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Golf-
I've been
golf clap.
looking at that and, looking at other places that do what I do and see how
damn it,
close.
why not
or
me?
how far. There's a lot of internal competition. They don't know it's competition. You got to have somebody to compare yourself to.
It's a competition of one.
Right. Yeah.
I like competitions of one because I always win.
It's such a small niche, there's a
It
lot
is.
of us fighting over a really small
Audience.
group subset of people that want to see stuff like this. So it's tough, and I'm really just kind of surprised on my own that I got to 1,000. It only took about 2 years, which I read a lot of forums about YouTube, and it's like, if I was only doing this instead, if I was only talking about, I don't know, Fortnite or ASMR or something, maybe I'd be doing better off.
It's crazy jumping down those YouTube holes and you find like a niche, whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, you could click on. I've been watching a lot of different motorcycle videos. I'm thinking about getting a motorcycle again, and
What?
and then all of a sudden, everything on my like recommended page is a motorcycle thing, and
Yeah.
you watch one video that's about history, like World War II history, and then recommends all about history. Like, well, I just watched a single video. It's all I wanted to see is that one, and now I have hundreds on them. But you can jump down these little YouTube rabbit holes, and everything. It's really interesting how kind of divided off it is. There's just these different niches everybody goes down.
I think the Google Home thing's listening, because we were just talking about buying our son sort of a bigger bed. He had this bunk bed for a long time. He's 9 years old. He wanted to graduate on from that, and then the next day we're getting emails and things are popping up on the intertubes.
I guarantee you, either you or your wife went on the internet and looked at a kid's bed.
I know I didn't, because
Facebook tracked
I'm
it.
lazy.
Well, that's true.
Maybe she didn't know, but it's like one hit and they just flooded her.
Oh yeah, same thing happens on Facebook. I go to a website and look at shoes, and then all of a sudden, all the ads on Facebook are shoes.
Well, yeah, you'll go to look at backpacks on REI or something, and then all of a sudden Facebook has all these backpack, or Instagram has all these backpack ads. What really scares me with Facebook is they're doing that whole blockchain. They do want to do their own cryptocurrency, introducing it next year, and it's like, don't you know enough about me? Isn't cryptocurrency supposed to be
now
I can be
hang on.
anonymous?
They promise.
That's true.
Now, in order to keep your information private, they're creating another company within their company that is
always works out.
separate from Facebook, although it's not separate because Facebook still owns it.
And they'll never talk about anything.
Right. And they'll never cross over.
We
at
won't
all.
Never
Share.
share any technology.
Come on.
You stay over there.
I think it was the Daily Show last night. They were talking about it, and he's like, no, you can trust them. They promise they're not going to share information. Like, yeah,
You promise.
whatever. Yeah, I heard about that, and I was like, really? We're going to do a blockchain now? Okay. But they envision you being able to use that everywhere.
YouTube blows my mind. I mean, I got, like I said, I have a 9-year-old and I have
We were talking about Facebook, but you can go to YouTube. It's fine.
I have a 6-year-old. Well, I know you were talking about Facebook, but it all started with YouTube.
It did.
They don't even watch like TV. They just watch YouTube channels.
I've told you, but my kids, 13 and 17, could care less about television.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine
Just don't watch TV.
when they grow up that they'll give any sort of shit about having any sort of cable TV package.
Nope. When we used to have YouTube TV as our TV provider, like we ditched cable. We did it for about a year and a half or so. And then they kept raising their price, and it came to be about equal with cable TV. So we recently went back to cable TV. My kids were most upset about the fact of leaving YouTube TV because they lost YouTube Premium, which means no ads on YouTube. Because that's what they watch all the time. They're always on YouTube.
So they were not happy that they had the ads again.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, my daughter watches this show, and it's about another family that's not really all that different than us, and it's just they're just videotaping themselves, like, going to the grocery store.
I know. I've seen
Or-
you. Right? It's you.
I wish.
Somebody's got a spy cam.
Yeah, she's going to be coming around going, hey, Dad, how are you with the
Like,
phone?
why don't you just do something with me? They're not doing anything special. They
But that's
just
the
went to the
thing.
park.
That's the thing. There are these. I know
What are
there
you
are these
watching?
families on YouTube.
Or watching people build Lego sets or
That-
play with toys.
yeah.
Like, why don't we just go play with Legos?
We know there's that kid. I can for life, man, I'm not gonna remember his name. But there is a kid on YouTube who was
Ryan.
that was a toddler, and he basically his family got rich off of him playing with toys and then telling his parents what they think of it on video.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Tube or something.
Is that what it is? Yeah, something like that. Like
He's
they
got a
just,
sister, and she has one too.
oh my god.
And they go to like American Girl, and he does
Is it just their parents are in marketing
thing,
and they know how to
in
do
some
it?
of her video. Yeah, it's insipid. The whole thing's just incestuous.
Yeah,
It's
your parents are
makes you
marketing.
wonder,
makers.
like exploiting your kids worth that. I guess it is.
How many subscribers do they have?
I don't know.
I mean, it's an ungodly number. It's
Millions.
Millions.
It might be worth it.
Don't worry, honey. We'll have at least a quarter of your money in a trust fund for you. Mom and Dad will take the rest.
Management.
Yeah, management fees.
It
Cost
is.
of
It's
living.
weird too, thinking like, how are you ever going to tell that kid when they grow up to have like a normal job or
I know, right?
go get a degree?
Well, look-
like, what do they care? Like, I'm already a star. I got skills. I'm not
That's the
doing
thing.
that.
I've already. I mean,
I'm the talent. Mom, I'm not
Mom?
going to college.
Mom, you're management.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm the talent.
I'm the talent. Bring me a sandwich. I'll be in my
I
room.
mean, my son used to. His thing was always, "I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to be a YouTuber." You know, it's like, no, you're not. I mean, you can try.
He tried, right?
He tried for a while, but
Does he get excited about the stuff that you put on YouTube?
not at all.
No.
He hardly even. He used to edit videos. He plays video games all the time, and he used to for a long time. He would, put those.
Like Twitch? Was he live streaming?
He streamed for a little bit, but he likes actually going back and editing the video. He likes editing, so for a long time he would do that. I know he has, I don't know, about 8 terabytes of video right now. Really? He has 8 terabytes of video that he goes through and edits and puts like funny montages together of like stupid shit him and his friends did on PUBG or Rust or whatever.
Well, you know what? Here's what I think I should do. He's got a new hobby. Isn't there a channel around that?
Dude, you're talking about Airsoft.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of going,
I would just
going
watch
down a
people
rabbit-
get shot.
Do it, dude. You can find it on
I would
YouTube.
just watch that.
There is a whole YouTube niche of Airsoft. I mean,
So it's already there.
if you want to find out, you can find it. There's 2 huge Airsoft guys. They're all over in Europe because Airsoft is huge in Europe. And those 2 guys,
First video that
watching
pops
them.
up: playing airsoft in a haunted, abandoned shopping mall.
Yeah.
That sounds.
And those
awesome.
guys over. What's cool about when you watch those guys in Europe, because obviously the age of the country, they go and they have these battles that last all day. And some of them, I just watched one today where it was a 3-day weekend long battle, airsoft battle.
Like overnight, like
Overnight
did
for
they get
3
attacked
days.
while they're like.
I mean,
sleeping?
they had 4 days. The first day, each team would coordinate. They're playing like there's a mission. So the whole idea was that one team was inside. It was an old prison from the 1800s.
That's nice.
So they were in there.
Kind of creepy too.
They had a cache of weapons that then the people on the outside had to go attack and get, and then get it back to their home base. But we're talking about, it was like 50 on 50 essentially, or more.
And it's like, are they assaulting each other like 2 a.m?
Yeah,
with light
they,
night
they
vision.
can, they
or
can
something?
attack whenever they want. They had smoke grenades. They
Smoke
had
grenades.
automatic weapons.
Jesus.
My son went airsoft this weekend, and they had a sale on smoke grenades at the airsoft place.
So people, wow, well,
Yeah.
there's even more going on than I thought.
Oh man, it's insane. I know I told you, Jake. The first time I took him to play airsoft, he was, before he went to ever play, he's like, I want to buy this gun. He sent me a link. And it's like $500. I'm like, you haven't played a game.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
not
think I
buying
should
you-
start with this gun. It's a
Right.
good beginner
I'm not
gun.
buying you a $500 gun when you have never played a.
Well,
day
you're
in your
rich.
life. That's right. It's true. But we don't tell them that. So we rented the gear and everything. We show up and everybody is in full on military fatigues. It's like we stepped onto the battlefield. Like it was not. Me and my wife were both sitting there going, is he safe? Is this okay? Like, what is happening here? Like, these guys are wearing helmets. They're full on. There's this one dude who probably 6'3", 420 pounds, like huge man, carrying this enormous automatic MMG with a tripod and like a huge thing that held like 400 BBs. And I'm like, just don't get in front of him. Just whatever you do. So, but then my son loved it, and I talked him down to a much cheaper gun. But yeah, there is the YouTube niche over there for that too.
So I guess you have to figure out what's going to be the next popular activity, and then be the first one to start a YouTube channel on.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, so back to craft beer.
Okay.
Is that what we're talking about?
Right.
Right. Like, is it a big enough niche?
Yeah.
Or are the people that are into craft beer just old motherfuckers who don't watch YouTube that much?
Yeah, I can tell. I can talk to my demographics. I know that I was looking at this today over the last year. I'd say like so I have no viewers between 13 and 17, thankfully.
Right. Otherwise, you'd have some strikes against you probably or something.
Right,
You'd be
right.
shut down.
Yeah, I'd be doing something inappropriate. There's like nobody over, I don't know, 60, let's say. And then that 25 to 34 demographic is like 45%. And the next 45% is the 35 to 45. And then the rest is like the older crowd, but it's like 0.7% female.
Yeah, that's what ours are too. On you getting those from the YouTube analytics?
Yeah. And it's like I know that I have female viewers because I've talked to some of them, in a professional way, of course. I've met people out, or I've met other YouTubers that are female, and I have to think that some of them are watching, but most of the time demographics are 100% male.
Yeah, I would say ours were about the same as far as the female perspective, and we have very few in any other countries.
Well,
Yeah.
so
They're largely American.
do you think when I said earlier that craft beer increased, let's just go with the number 4%, grew by 4%. Are those people that are just now saying, "Hey, I want to go to a local brewery. I want to go to a brewery with some friends. I'm going to start, buying this a little bit more often when I see it on the wherever I purchased stuff." I guess what I'm asking is,
What are you asking?
do we also think the people that are interested enough in craft beer that they're going to listen to a show like this, is there any growth in that population? If 4%, if there's 4% growth, but only 1% of that, which is actually a very small
There's way
number.
way too many numbers.
I don't
in my
know.
head hurts already.
If you carry the two,
If you take the X and you carry what?
it seems like craft beer continues to get talked about more and more places are opening. I'm just wondering if there's more people becoming, ascending to where we're at with it, I guess is what I'm asking.
I think for a lot of people, it's. I mean, I know for me, when I want to buy a new device, or a new, I'm looking for tripods right now. So if I want to buy a new tripod, I go on YouTube. Well, first I go to the stores, the online stores, to see how much they cost and see what I can afford. Then I narrow that down, right? Then I go on YouTube and I want to see real use cases of this tripod.
Okay.
And I think a lot of it is just discovery. There's not I don't think there's a lot of marketing push behind people on YouTube, like for beer people. I know that, I don't know, but for me, I don't go on forums and talk about it. I don't go on like subreddits or whatever. I don't promote my channel. I don't promote my channel on those
Right.
avenues at all. I like it to be word of mouth, because I don't participate in forums. I don't participate in subreddits. I read them, but I don't necessarily post, and I don't want to spam the channel because I like it to be grown organically. And I think what it is a lot of people go and they might try a beer, or they might, there might be a brewery that they like, a new brewery, smaller breweries especially, and they'll follow them on Facebook or something. And I know for me personally, I might be giving a little bit of away, a little bit of the secret sauce. But for me, if I talk about a brewery and I let the brewery know that I talk about them, they share it. If they share it on Facebook, then I get a big push on Facebook. Twitter, not so much, but I think it's discovery. I think it's people that they try a beer, they go to a brewery and they want to hear what other people have to say. They want to see if those people's opinions match theirs or if it's different. Hopefully enough people have an open mind that they can say, yeah, I want to get maybe a dissenting opinion, or I want to find out why this beer somebody else might really like it, but I don't. So I think it's discovery. I think people are trying something and they want to see what other people say about it. I think that's where a big part of craft beer on YouTube. I think that's a big part where we get our audience, and then it's all the other, again, marketing things around that get them to actually watch your stuff and see if they want to watch you more.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group, our Facebook page. Funny enough, I didn't tell Jake this yet. I was looking at our YouTube analytics, and by far and away, majority of our traffic, according to YouTube, comes from Facebook.
Really?
Which I'm like, really? Because I don't post shit to Facebook.
Because I tell you, for
like,
weeks,
what are you talking about?
It's really been bothering me lately. I was like, man, I really need to do more on Facebook, and I really don't want to, but I know that the audience is there. I just don't like Facebook.
I know, I hate Facebook. I've this week I have been posting to Facebook more about like our the YouTube clip or the Beer Hops clips that we put out this week for Central Waters. And to what you were saying, Sean, for us, for the most part, I would say, I'd say about 50% of those that we have interviewed and stuff have like retweeted or posted something about us. We've had several that haven't really said a word about being on the show, and I'm like,
we've had a few of those.
Yeah,
but
I've had the same.
Right now, the biggest one, I'm trying to pull up the YouTube stats over on the other screen here, but the biggest one, like founders, or not founders, geez.
Lakefront?
Lakefront.
Yeah, Lakefront was a...
Everybody, that video, everybody and their mom is apparently watching that video.
Well, I mean, maybe that's just because that's the most recognizable one that we've had in terms of a larger regional craft beer fandom base. I mean, Central Waters was great, but you're talking about a brewery in Amherst, Wisconsin, compared to Milwaukee.
No, that's true. But I'm still trying to pull this up, and I really don't like the whole YouTube Studio beta. The YouTube Studio beta thing is just I always go back to classic. Just stop. Leave me alone, YouTube. But Central Waters is widely known.
I'm not suggesting they're not widely known.
I agree with you.
I'm just talking about sort of relative concentration of population, and I don't know. I mean, look, I don't know that that's the truth. Yeah.
Huge.
I
pointed to the numbers on the screen.
That's a nice bar.
You see it?
It's a ginormous graph there. I mean, top videos for Lakefront is 959, whereas right below Central Waters is 651. That's a huge jump.
Yeah.
I don't know. Analytics.
What's the difference? What's the time difference? Like, how long has it been in between?
Week. Right?
Was it a week?
No, wasn't there one in between? You guys,
I don't remember.
Lakefront was on site first week of the
here.
month. Actually, yeah, it was.
I mean, as far as when
That
they
was a
came
busy
out, they're a
week.
week apart.
Yeah, no, you're right. We went that weekend.
Yeah, we did 3 in pretty much the span of a week.
We did. Oh, wow.
That's why
Look
we
at us. We were go-getters for like a week.
Yeah, for a week. That's why we retired. It's fuck. After that, we were like, okay, we're not doing this again.
That's why my wife was mad at me.
On the drive home from Central Waters, it's a 3-hour drive for us.
Oh, jeez.
And on the drive home, all three of us are like, man, this was awesome. It was so fun. Love doing it. And then pause. We're not doing this again. We're not going. We're not driving this far again. It's like 6-hour round trip.
Well, what we need to do is Sean, what's some recommendation? Do I need to stay locally if I'm gonna and just try to plan out hitting a few places? Like,
Are you going to go to do the show, or just to go and check them out?
Well,
let's do the show.
To do a show,
because
but if we're gonna go on the road and we want to go somewhere that far away, I think we probably just have to overnight it and hit a couple places.
And come home the next day.
Okay, so which hotel is going to sponsor
then? You're rich.
I've heard that you're rich.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I have the same dilemma because of what I want to take this show on the road. I want to go to breweries. I want to do the stories. And I was talking to somebody. I was on a podcast, not to toot my own horn, toot toot, but I was on a podcast on Saturday and we talked about it. I know that for you guys, Michigan, doing mostly Michigan beer, it's the same thing. Some other states you might be able to say like, oh, okay, well, this brewery's like 45 minutes away. And we have 100 breweries and each one's maybe like half an hour to an hour away. But Michigan, if I go to the UP, that's like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
That's a weekend thing that I'm doing. Or if I want to go to, the others to Traverse City, that's 4 hours, or Grand Rapids is 2.5. So you have to kind of plan. Like for me, what I think I'm going to try to do to talk to people is do more beer fests where there's big groups of these brewers together.
Yeah.
But to go and see the tap rooms, you almost have to say, I'm going to take a weekend. I'm going to hit this one. I'm going to hit this one for this 5-hour window, go to this other place for this 5 hour, and bank up the footage that you get. And it's going to be just grueling as hell. But to be able to get all the stuff that you need to get, you need to spend a couple hours and it's just, you have to do an overnighter. I mean,
Yeah.
When I went to Grand Rapids to pick up Founders CBS the first year it got re-released, the 2017, and that's about a 2 to 2.5 hour drive for me one way. And I went to another brewery because it was, of course, Founders was crazy. I thought I was going to get lunch there, and I went to another brewery that was within 20 minutes that I like, and just hit that place up and drove home, and I was like, that was it. I couldn't do another place if I wanted to sit and try a few more drinks. It was just going to be too much.
What was the other brewery you hit up, Sean?
There's a place in Grand Rapids called Mitten, and it's Mitten Brewing Company. It's all baseball themed. It's like all it's old
there?
firehouse.
I have it. That sounds amazing.
You're from Grand Rapids, right?
No, I'm not from, but all of
All of your
my
family lives
family
there.
lives there now. My sister, she just moved, but she was living right by. Sean, have you ever been to Vivant?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was right there. I've spent some Mitten. My siblings have failed me. I've not heard of this.
Yeah, they have one in Grand
Siblings do
Rapids,
that.
and I think they opened a tap room. I want to say they opened one in Saugatuck on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
But they have, it's all their beer is baseball themed. It's like, they have what is it? I think it's a double IPA. Well, they have an IPA called Country Strong from Rod. That was Rod Allen's, one of his, he was a Detroit Tigers announcer.
Oh, yeah.
Before he got in a fight with his coworker. That was one of his sayings, Country Strong. They had Doc's No-No, which was, I think it was a double. They have, actually one of them is it's not, I don't think it's baseball themed, but all their labels are I wish I had one around me. They're all like baseball. They look like baseball, old school, like you have a Twins, the lettering. They have all the artwork is just like baseball, old school baseball lettering, like just the 2 initials for whatever it is. But yeah, they have great beer, great pizza. They have, like I said, it's all baseball themed. It's just really cool. So that was the one I visited because I've been there, and they don't can very much. I think they do 4 releases, but it's a pretty cool place. They have their food's really good. The atmosphere is really good. So
I will check it out. That would be like my equivalent of Chad and Boats. I love baseball, so if you
baseball.
name a beer after baseball, I will. Doesn't even have to be a good beer. I'll buy it. Then
all the beers so far that I've had has been pretty good.
So real quickly, digging into YouTube analytics here.
Here we're going down the rabbit hole.
Well, I think it's interesting, and Sean will appreciate this. You'll find out in a second here.
Better appreciate it.
So the average view duration time that they show you on these videos.
Yeah.
So for Lakefront, which has 340 impressions, but average view time was 12 minutes, and it was like almost a 2-hour interview.
What's the click-through rate on the impressions?
Click-through rate is 4.1%.
All right.
Central Waters, 162 impressions, 9.9%, 23-minute view duration. DraftTherapy, 66 impressions, 9.1% click-through, 42-minute, 56-second average view time.
How long?
42 minutes.
Wow.
Damn, we need to have you on more.
The next
They
one,
like you.
the highest, because you're pretty much the second highest without me scrolling down too far.
Mhm.
No, you are the second highest. The highest is massive beer reviews,
Wow.
which I find this. I don't understand this. So it's 40 impressions with 0 click-through rate.
That's
For
got to
Matt?
be a mistake on the reporting,
With
right?
1 hour and 14-minute view duration. With 1 view. See there, what's wrong with that?
Is it based
So
on?
one person watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
What?
And see, the click-through rate is like based on your thumbnail. So yeah, that's like, I think I spend, I mean, I don't spend oodles of time on the thumbnails for the videos, but
Yeah.
I spend probably a good, I have a formula. They all kind of look the same and I want you to be able to see it and say, oh, okay, that's his thumbnail. That's
Right.
his video. And it's like 3%.
Yeah.
So
I mean, all I do is I put our logo. That's it. You ever try that thing? What are you drinking now, by the way? You changed.
Yeah, clown.
yeah, this is this is Oddside presents Laughing Clown. This is a malt liquor. It's 7%. It's a Ricky Bobby special. So
Nice. Very nice.
malt liquor is another underappreciated beer style from the craft beer community. I've had a few that have been malt craft beer, but not enough. Not enough. These are time machines. These are time machines in a glass and bottle and can and whatever.
I haven't really had much malt. Wasn't it Lakefront?
Somebody was talking.
Lakefront's
I was
my
the lakefront guy.
Lakefront's My Turn series.
Yeah,
This recent one is.
this smells fantastic.
Yeah, go ahead and show the kids at home.
I'm gonna tug on this. Jeez.
Okay, calm yourself.
This smells like Bean Spirit. Chad, if you're out there, he did a Friday morning beer review on this one. Wow, just
Which that Friday morning beer review does have a video of his tugboat when
does
when he first put it in
because
the water.
this says on the can tugboat coffee,
Yeah, they use tugboat coffee in this, and so
which is probably why Chad bought this to begin with.
it
to
is.
be honest.
Even he says it on Friday morning beer review.
Yeah.
That's why he bought it. So
microphone
if you haven't watched that one,
brewing.
if you don't watch any others, watch that one because you get to see Chad's tugboat in the water for the first time.
I watched that one twice. I love the end. He's just pulling his tugboat around.
Yeah.
But wow, I mean, you can just smell the maple. That and is it coffee?
Who's this by?
It's at Microphone Brewing.
Oh, microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, ooh, I'm excited.
Calm yourself. Watch it.
I like a good maple beer. This isn't like a I don't think this is barrel aged. It comes in at 8%.
That's coffee though, man.
Coffee, heavy coffee.
Smells like bean spirit. Breakfast stout ale with Vermont
Wow.
maple syrup.
I feel like I almost just got like a frappuccino from Starbucks. Like just put some whipped cream on that or something.
But what Chad pointed out too, what is hilarious is the tiny little
Little penis.
coffee bean penis there.
Well, it's just like the front of the
Yeah.
Nirvana.
cover.
Nirvana
Never mind.
cover, yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah,
Yep.
with the baby.
Yeah, this one's like another one that's kind of old. There's a lot of stuff floating in it.
Floaters.
What is the
Yeah.
one? The one I had last week that had the big opening in it,
Oh, it was a gummy apocalypse
Yeah. So, I mean, I just cleaned up this
by
room today.
is that Noon Whistle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
it's by
cleaned up
Noon
this room
Whistle.
today, and I grabbed that can, and it's been out here for like a week. I spilled it. There's nothing in it.
I love that you spilled it though.
Yeah, I tipped the can over, and remember there's sediment in the bottle of that beer?
I remember.
What all crystallized,
Oh,
and all these little crystallizations all over my table here of whatever the hell that was. I was like, what the? Cool
Yeah,
story.
you
right?
guys can't see, but over here on this side is this big. Well, it's not as bad as it was before, but it's this huge stack of just cans. Because when I get done doing filming something, I just get lazy and I set it over the side. And then when I decide to pick them up, these New Englands, you pick them up and they rattle.
Yeah.
All the stuff inside of them's all hard and crystallized.
Yeah. That's the first time I'd had one crystallized like that, though. I'd never really seen that before. Maybe because I don't usually keep them that long, but I do plan at some point. I've had the shelf over here since we decorated to put a shelf up here and put some bottles up, but I'm just too lazy. Once I did this, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not putting anything else up.
Yeah, this is good enough. You know how long this took?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't do any of it. My wife did pretty much all of that. So
I'm the one that like, you think that you have the stud and you like drill in the wall and you're like, oh god damn it, and then you like,
oh no,
you got to drill over like 2 more inches. Like, no, this is definitely it. I mean, it can't be this far. This is where it says the stud is, and then and it's empty, and oh god damn it, and you go like, and then when you're done, the whole wall just looks like a pegboard. It's
right.
just
So see, I'm same way, and my wife got annoyed with me doing that. So literally, and I mean that in the literal sense, every picture in this house is hung up with command strips.
Oh, really?
Everything.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, you dirty little secret.
That I think is command strips.
No.
That. All this is command
I
strips.
thought you guys were like expert hangers.
Fuck that. Everything is command strips, unless it's something that's too heavy, like a shelf. Obviously, it's anchored in, but everything else.
I use
all those
command
pictures downstairs.
strips.
Everything is command strips.
Wow.
My pants, command strips.
Prove it.
Everything is command strips. Yeah, she would command strip the TVs on the wall if they would work, but they won't.
need enough of them. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, right. I know.
Well, this is 10%. Oh, that makes me happy. I like ABV.
Now it's gonna be.
Now I'm smiling.
That's your fuel.
Double digit. Good. I'm gonna take a picture.
So, Jake, you weren't on the first episode with Sean.
I was not.
Did you have anything you wanted to ask him? Anything you wanted to talk about with him?
Wow, you really put me on the spot.
I know. I love it. I'm going to sit back and drink while you...
Well,
I'm going to put you on the screen there. There you go. It's all you.
Well, I guess really, I mean, at this point, I had questions then, but I don't remember what they were. I think I submitted them to you guys and you didn't use them.
Obviously.
So, Sean, you hit 1,000.
Yeah.
What's next? The goal to keep growing?
The world. I want to hit the play button.
You're going to take over the world after this?
He's at 1,052 already.
I know.
I want that 100,000 play button. That's what I'm looking for.
The 100,000?
Yeah. The silver or the platinum play button or whatever it is.
You don't want the diamond? What is that, $1 million?
I'll take what I can get.
There was somebody on YouTube that made their own play button, and it hangs up behind their video every time. I can't remember who it was.
I could put one up on this, just
right.
have
Yeah,
a new
green
graphic.
screen it. Yeah. It's funny. I have a green screen downstairs, and I I use it now for my son does target practice with Airsoft on it now. But I thought about, because I saw way back in the day when I first started looking at beer on YouTube. You and Massive were probably the first two I really actually looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, he's green screening that back there. That's a good idea. So I thought about doing that in here, and I'm like, no, that's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do that.
That's a big wall.
Like, I don't want to edit it. I don't want to have to figure out how to light it right. Yeah, forget it. I'm not going to do that. So I didn't. I was like, no, I'll just do this.
Sean, what pace are you trying to keep up right now in terms of new content being published out?
It's 2 a week. It's 2 a week or die. I mean, like, I go on vacation 2 a week. I'll be out for 2 weeks on vacation 2 a week, one every Tuesday, one every Thursday. Never fail. So if I'm going to go to the UP, I'm going to go to Mackinac Island next weekend, and it's probably going to take up a bit of time. And I record on Sundays, sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday, if I really have to build up like a backlog.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll record probably. I recorded 3 last Sunday, so I have 1 in the hopper that I need to finish for next week. And then this Sunday I'll record 3, so I'll have I'll have 2 weeks basically in the bank. But it's always 2 a week. And then if I do an outside Michigan, which I'm going to start doing a little bit more of, I have one. I've Ghost in the Machine from Parrish Brewing in Louisiana. I've been sitting on that one, but it's done. It just has to be edited. And I have a friend that sent me the bottle, and he's like, hey, when am I going to see that Ghost in the Machine? It's like, drinking the beer is the easy part.
Right.
It's all the extra stuff.
Exactly.
Editing and getting all the effects and getting the label and all that stuff. That's where the time really comes in. So, and rendering and everything. But yeah, 2 a week, rain or shine. And there have been times when I haven't had one to go on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And that's when I went out to a brewery and did a live stream on one of those Tuesdays, talked to the owner, stuff like that. That's what I'll try and live stream if I can. If I absolutely can't have something to live stream, it's just the kind of fail safe. But yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays every week, rain or shine. Basically, that's my philosophy on it.
Now, when you do multiples in a day, do you change shirts for everyone?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes I'll put a hat on. Sometimes I'll take the hat off.
Right.
Get a little fancy.
Turn the hat backwards.
See, we would
Yeah.
just keep the same clothes on because we're gross.
I'm pretty much wearing
I've
the
seen
same.
that twin shirt a few times.
I pretty much wear the same outfit every time anyway. I mean, I work from home. I don't change my clothes, so who cares?
Yeah, the secret's the shirt, though. I don't think the haircut will change. Sometimes you'll see a video, and my hair will be a little bit longer. You know, like it'll be short hair and then really long. You know, not for me really long, but it'll be long hair, and it's nobody. Somebody just mentioned today the video I put out yesterday for Founders, that Mucho Lupu. I had a Toledo Zoo panda shirt, and I said to this guy, I said nobody ever comments about what I'm wearing ever, which is fine. But you know, like when I first started, it was like every day I'm going to wear a different T-shirt, and it's going to be a different one. You're never going to see the same one twice. And I was wearing like Golden Girls T-shirts and like, you know, anything I could drag out of the drawer. And this guy's like, "Oh, what's up with the pandas?" And I was like, "You're the first person that's ever mentioned anything. I've been doing it for 2 years. Nobody's ever said anything about whatever." And finally, you mentioned the pandas. You know, it's like
He's wearing his wife's shirts.
yeah, I was dragging the kids' shirts out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and now all I see is the pandas.
Yeah, he's playing it right now.
Yeah, and over that red, I mean, they just really pop.
They do, yeah. But if I hadn't said anything, the green, the bamboo on it, though, you can see through it. Green screen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Still though, pandas.
Panda.
Have you ever just had like an all-nighter Saturday where you just freaking stocked up like 6 of them?
No, the most I've ever done in a night is 4. I was doing 4 for a while, but it's Sunday, and then that leads into I got to go to work on Monday. I don't start till late at night, so Okay, so I'll give you guys the worst scenario, the worst thing that happened on a Sunday for me was. So I did this. I've done a couple of videos like this where I do old versus new, where it's like an old can and a fresh can of something. So I'll take this particular one was Boss Tweed. So Boss Tweed is Old Nation's double New England style IPA. It's like 9.5% or something. So I had a can from December 2017, I want to say, and then like June or July 2018, and I drank them both and talked about it. And then I did another Old Nation beer. It was probably their other like Full Earth 10% double New England style IPA. And I think I did another one. And I was up in my room where I do the editing, and I was transferring everything and kind of editing. And I just passed out, and I woke up. It was like 4 a.m. I was still drunk, hardcore drunk. That was the roughest day I think at work ever. Because you know, you get those New Englands, they're really sweet. You get a lot of sugar in your stomach, you know, you're just kind of, it's not a good scene. You got that taste, that malty kind of taste in your mouth the whole day. And it was rough. It's a really rough day.
You know, talk about the editing. Since we started doing the interviews, like these type of things where we do it like, you know, on via Hangouts with people, It's really easy because I use a Stream Deck, and so I can basically do the editing, the live production right now. You know, so I can go to your camera, I can go to Jake's camera, I can go to my camera, I can go to the room camera. So I can do it on the fly. And so then really all I do is kind of, you know, trim the beginning and the end, tweak with the audio a little bit, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But we go to these brew visits and we actually do the walkthrough of the breweries. You know, now you got B-roll, right? And then the hardest part is the audio inside the brewery. And so I have to watch the whole 2-hour interview and tweak the audio the entire time. Like if you saw the audio keyframe of the volume, and like especially the Central Waters one, it's just like constantly volume up, volume down, volume up, volume down.
Yeah.
And,
on the one side of us, we had the main bar area, and at different
the
times,
ladies were cackling behind you. I kept muting you during it, and then you talking to unmute you. But
were you just like, shut up, Jake, shut up, don't talk.
Yeah, don't say anything, don't say anything. Ah, shit, you're talking. But yeah, it turned like, you know, I think the first one we did with Lakefront, it took like 6 hours to edit that one. But
I did a 2-parter. So there's a brewery. This I have a can here. It's Griffin Claw It's Rocky Road Stout. I haven't opened it, but Griffin Claw does this series every year, and it's called their Flying Buffalo series. It's like this bourbon barrel aged stout, and they do this year they did 8 variations. And I did a video with my friend Dave, and we went through like a bracket system. We said like, hey, this one against this one, and we kind of worked it up the ladder on 2 different sides. And that, I think it took, by the end, we were both really pretty far gone. But editing that, I did it with a microphone. He had a microphone on a recorder. I had a microphone on a recorder. And his was, we must not have calibrated it right before we started. And it was going through the entire hour and editing it, cutting all the stuff out, splitting it in 2 parts, cutting all the blanks out, all the silences, trying to get so we had 2 different channels, and then there was mic bleed. So I could hear him on my mic, and I could hear me on his mic. And that was a nightmare. Like you said, muting, basically cutting out entire sections of this audio, cutting out my audio, back and forth the whole time, just so it sounded somewhat okay. And by the end, I was like, yeah, it is what it is.
When we first started, we used these Audio Technica USB microphones, and they were like $100, I want to say. And
those were $100.
Yes, and they were shitty for just the reason you were talking about. Because when Chad and I first started, it was me here and Chad, in Wisconsin, so nobody in the room with me. And then we bring Loudmouth over here on, and he's sitting right next to me. Yeah, and so then we had the mic bleed like crazy. And so I was trying I'd set him like on the other side from me, and we tried all these different things.
We did play musical chairs.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Look at me, don't look at me.
I was in my office downstairs, which has is our wood floors, no carpet or anything. So then we moved up.
Absorption.
We moved up here, it has carpet. It still didn't really work. And then we bought these $50 microphones.
Right.
And it's the best thing we ever did.
Yeah, I mean, Adam was getting ready to hang basically carpet on his walls to build his own soundproof.
I built sound dampening panels. I have the insulation still downstairs.
But we haven't needed them.
And we even take these microphones into breweries, and I've been surprised at how great they've worked with the audio and the bleed and everything. So
XLR?
They are XLR, yeah. So I bought a mixer, and then we have the XLR. But when we go to breweries, I don't take the mixer with us. We have a Zoom H6 that we take to the breweries. We really couldn't do breweries unless I took pretty much everything in this room with us.
Right, which wasn't going to happen.
Because my gaming computer's not going. Okay, it's staying here. That's my baby. But we bought the Zoom H6. Then it was like, okay, now we can go to breweries. So it was. Yeah,
I'm in the. So I'm using I generally when I talk to people when I do streams or when I do like you guys doing remote, I just got this mic. It's a Rode Wireless Go. Yeah. So I'm thinking about getting a second one because they're really easy, especially if I go to a fest and I'm going to talk to somebody. I did a thing with I had a shotgun on the top of my camera, shotgun mic, and it was good, but it just picked up. When you go to, I don't know about how beer fests, the big ones, the state ones are on you guys, but here they have they bring in music, they bring in bands.
Yep.
And they play, music's playing the entire time. Yep. It's like, can we go someplace quiet? And we're like, yeah. And we duck behind the porta-johns, and it's like, you're maybe decreasing the sound floor, by 10 decibels or some, really small amount in the grand scheme. And then it's like, I have interviews that I can't post because the audio is just so bad, it's, or if you try to do any correction, it's just, you just get phasing the entire time where it's like warping back and forth. And it's not good. No bueno.
Yeah. The same thing I like about the Zoom is that it's portable, obviously, and it can run off battery power or it can run off, you can plug it in. So we could theoretically take this and do man on the street interviews or whatever at brew events. You have an XLR mic that has a long cable. But yeah, it opens up the possibilities because taking all this shit was not going to fucking happen. I ain't doing it. So,
Sean, can you tell us again what you're drinking there? That looks black as night, and I'm jealous.
Okay, yeah. So this one is from Griffin Claw. They're in Birmingham, Michigan. This is a Rocky Road Stout. So they released. This is a 9.5%. stout brewed with walnut, chocolate, and marshmallow. They did They did 4 releases. One was a chocolate vanilla porter. The other one was this Rocky Road stout. The other one was a blackberry milkshake porter. And then there was another stout. So it was 2 porters and 2 stouts that they released. It was like $8 for a 4-pack, which is pretty good for them. And, or for any craft beer for these 16-ounce cans. But yeah, it's, I had this at the brewery. I hadn't actually tried this out of the can, but yeah, it's really chocolatey. A lot of chocolate in that.
What would you say? Walnut? Do you get the walnut on there? Sometimes I really like beers that have walnut, and sometimes it's too much. And I drink some of it, and I'm like, okay, it's not bad, but I'm done.
Too much.
I don't like walnut on their own. I think walnut is just like, it's not a good flavor for me. I mean, I just don't like it, but I'm not getting, unless it's like the sweet.
A little nutty sweetness. You said marshmallow too?
Yeah, maybe the marshmallow on the front, the big chocolate on the aftertaste. And I guess if I hadn't read this and saw that it had walnut on it, I don't know if I would say, oh yeah, it's walnut flavor. But when I see it, I can think, okay, yeah, I think on the aftertaste, there's like a tiny tinge of this walnut on it.
A bit nutty. Not barrel aged, right?
Yeah, they are not. As far as I know, they don't mention anything about barrel aged on here.
I bet it'd be good barrel aged. I got a feeling. I got a hankering.
Everything's good barrel aged, right?
Now I just want something barrel aged. Adam, what do you got? Let's go.
I mean, I'm sure there's something.
To the beer fridge.
There's something over there.
Do-do-do-do.
There is a Big Bad Baptist barrel age over there.
Hey, did you have that on Father's Day? Did you have that?
I didn't drink shit on Father's Day.
You drank shit on Father's Day?
I didn't drink shit on Father's Day.
Oh, man.
I didn't do anything on Father's Day. It was a perfect Father's Day.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't
Lucky
do
you.
too
Well,
much.
the wife was leaving too, so she left the house and went shopping with the daughter, and then she flew out to Iowa. So
Iowa. Iowa. What was the one you were discussing? Bigfoot? It's escaping me at the moment.
Yeah. The barrel aged Bigfoot.
Ah.
I think it's downstairs. I don't know. I have beer all over the place. I have no idea where everything's at anymore.
Jake, I have one request. Before you pour the next beer, I got to see your sniff technique.
Oh yes.
Oh. You know.
Chug it.
I want to thank
Don't tell
you.
me what I can't do.
Right.
Yeah, and these guys, they make fun of me, but
We don't make fun of you. We think it's hilarious.
You make
and
fun of me.
that's going to be our first T-shirt.
Sniff.
Give it a sniff.
Give it a sniff.
Yep.
What was the other T-shirt name we had? We had another good one.
IBUs don't matter.
Well, I love that, which is true, but it was another one that had some innuendo. I don't remember what it was. Well, what do we? Ooh, now we probably do need something that really gets
Get one of those
good,
New Glarus ones.
good sniff.
The one you can't bear to drink alone.
Those aren't good.
Come on. It's
One's
New Glarus.
weed and one's
How dare
fruit.
you speak bad of the New Glarus?
I don't
The
dislike
God Brewery of Wisconsin.
New Glarus,
the
but-
holy land of Wisconsin,
I mean,
New Glarus. And you're going to speak badly
Last
of
time
it?
you had a New Glarus, you're like, this is the shit.
Never. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
You're lucky our Wisconsinites not on here. You would
I like
kill
Moon Man,
you.
and I like 2 women. I get behind that anytime.
You're
you
bragging
know what I
now,
meant.
and you know that's not true.
I'm not drinking these alone.
You're not. My wife's not here. I can get drunk.
All right. Well,
Even if my wife was here, I can get drunk.
do you
do
want
we got?
a fruit beer or do you want a wheat beer?
You know the answer to that. I'll take the fruit beer. I did have a non-alcoholic beer this week. Can you grab the can for me out of there?
What am I? Just the beer bitch?
Pretty much.
All right.
You
Fine.
knew that. We've been talking about non-alcoholic beers forever. We've talked to all the brewers that we've talked to about it. And so I finally got my whiff to pick it up on Father's Day, actually, while she was out. So this is that brewery that I was talking about from Missouri, as I call it, or Missouri, as everybody else calls it. I lived there. I was born there. I can call it Missouri. This is Well-Being Brewing, and all they brew is non-alcoholic beers. They don't brew anything else.
I heard that.
But I did not know this until I got this, brewed and bottled for Wellbeing Brewing by O'Fallon.
Really?
So they don't brew their own. O'Fallon out of Missouri brews it for them. The contract brew deal. Non-alcoholic. This is a Heavenly Body Golden Wheat.
So wait, hold on. They're contract brewing in a beer.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine? So it was like, hey, what if we?
Hey, I got a great idea.
Let's open it.
I want you to contract brew for us, but we don't want any alcohol in it.
Let's open a brewery. It's just going to be a name. We're going to contract it out.
So it's not a brewery. You know, it's just like two guys sitting in a strip mall office because they have to have an office somewhere, and that's all it is. They don't have a brewery. So here you go.
Maybe a kiosk.
It's a kiosk in the mall.
I'm not opening this.
No, don't open it now. But I did try it this week. A little harder next time.
Was it?
God damn, dude.
Well, it is in a beer. I'm just not going to treat it nicely, okay?
I don't like wheat beers, but all they had was the wheat beer, and I think that's all they had at Benny's. So that's what we got. And
So can it qualify as beer?
Good question.
You know, you say it's beer. They had the wheat beer, but doesn't it have to have alcohol to be a beer?
so in order to be non-alcoholic, it has to be, I think, like
I'm not talking about that. Let's not get into semantics about non-alcoholic. I'm talking about the beer part. I understand the non-alcoholic
my
part, the beer part.
understanding. Technically, it is brewed like
Don't you need yeast?
I don't know how they do it.
If there's
I really don't know.
if there's no yeast, isn't it just cardboard water? I mean,
Right, exactly, right. When we talked to Lakefront, they are looking into doing it. And he said it was a difficult process to do, but they are looking into it. When we talked to Central Waters, they were
Did you
pretty
say good?
They were pretty much like, no, it's too hard to do. And what Central Waters told us, which I didn't even think of, is they said because the process is so much more difficult because there's no alcohol involved. So now you have to be even more clean than what you already are with beer.
Yeah.
Because there's no alcohol there that's going to kill off bacteria as alcohol does. So now you're essentially like you're dealing with a food product at this point, and it makes it much easier to get bacteria and everything in there now. So I don't know. The bottom line, it wasn't great. But if you put it side by side with another wheat beer, I don't think I would be able to say this one's alcoholic, this one's not. It had decent flavor, but if you give me a non-alcoholic IPA, that would be a better deciding factor on that because I just don't like wheat beers, right? So I'm not going to sit here and go, man, it was great. Like, no, I don't like wheat beers.
for a wheat beer, it was
it tasted like shit,
par for
like
the
all the
course.
other wheat beers. So I don't know.
Yeah, we have there's a local, just to kind of go back to the contract brewery, there's like a local contract brewery that here in Michigan, it's Brew Detroit, and they do, I did a tour there, and they just have these huge, multi-gallon barrel fermenters and stuff. They do, so M43 here, which is Old Nation, it's like the big New England style in Michigan. They brew some in Williamston and Old Nation. They brew some at Brew Detroit. They do a lot of local places, but they said that they do, you were saying it's just two guys in an office, strip mall somewhere.
Right.
There's a beer that was here called Altes. It's ALTES. And that's like, it was an old school brewery, like way back, probably the 40s or 50s, 60s, that kind of time frame when there were still a lot of independent breweries. And, those are the type of things where there's no Altes brewing. It's Brew Detroit, but it's somebody who bought the rights to the name. They bought the recipe and they gave it to Brew Detroit and they said, brew this beer. It's like there's a beer that comes out here. I don't know if you guys get it. It's called Lake Brothers, and it's a lager. And it looks like the labels are all these, kind of early 80s, late 70s style labels, but they're probably two guys in Chicago that all the social media is them out on pontoon boats, like with abs and stuff that I don't have.
Right.
Good-looking girlfriends, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's just two guys or a couple, some independent group that bought the rights to it. And I don't know how many people know that, but it's like a lot of these old beers that are coming back. Brew Detroit brews Rainier. Yeah. Rainier's not sold in Michigan. It's only sold in Washington. It's like, it's a beer that we will never see, but it's brewed in Detroit. and sent to Washington. And it's like hyper local.
I mean, I've heard of a lot. I've heard, and I can't think of the names, but that there are breweries that majority, if not all, of their brewing is contract brewing. Like they don't.
Oh yeah.
They don't put out their own beers. They're contract brewing for everybody else. Which
Brew Detroit does their own. They have like these 50 barrel systems where they do.
yeah.
They said that if you go in there, if you go in there every 2 weeks, there will be almost an entirely new lineup.
Wow.
Every time you go, they just go through a cycle, and it takes about 1.5 years for them to cycle through all the different beers that they want to try. And then they'll distribute their own beers too, which is really crazy that they do their own beers, they do contract brewing, and they have a tap room, a tasting room where you can go in, and every 2 weeks it's almost an entire cycle of new styles.
That's crazy.
So it's insane.
That is nuts. All right, I'm going to go clean these out. So you two talk amongst yourselves. Have fun.
So is Rainier Rainier?
I think it's Ranier.
Rainier.
There was a show where that's what they drank. Was Twin Peaks? Was that the original show? Was that in the Pacific Northwest?
Yes.
I think they drank it. Somebody drank it on Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I found it here. Rainier. Rain.
It's like Mount Rainier.
Okay, yeah. So originally was brewed out there, but long ass time ago, like 1800s.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's still owned locally, but not brewed there.
And it's insane that this place that you go into, it's just this massive complex of all these just huge tanks. They have all these places locally that I've done reviews for, that I recognize the names. They have, all the empty cans with all the labels already printed on them and all that stuff just sitting there ready to be shipped out. Kid Rock had a beer that was done by this brewery in Weberville, Michigan it was called Michigan Brewing Company, but now it's defunct and they sold the thing. But his beer was called Kid Rock's Badass American Lager or something.
Of course.
And
love it.
We went to Michigan Brewing Company when they were brewing it initially, and we're like, hey, can we try this Kid Rock beer just to see what it was all about? And the waitress wouldn't serve it to us. It's like, yeah, you don't want that. We're like, no, we'd like to try it. She's like, no, you don't. It's like
Kid Rock music. It's just not good.
Were you like,
somebody
come
else
on, I
picked
want
it
the ball with the ball, the bang, bang, bang.
Don't do that again.
That was terrible. I apologize. If anybody was listening, they just laughed.
Bad. Yeah,
But we all knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, right.
That's the
You knew
saddest part.
exactly
you
what I
could have
was
just said
talking
ball with the ball and been done with it, but you had to keep pushing it. We have switched to New Glarus Serendipity.
Usually I would do a sniff with it when it's still in there, but since we're sharing, this is not proper sniff.
He wants to see your
Can't
sniff technique.
I want to see the
Just
technique.
show him.
I want to see don't sweat
Show
the
him.
technique.
Come
I
on.
want to see, the whole process.
Come on, show
Because I heard
him.
it's similar to something I do.
Show him.
Well, I may have.
Come on, show him.
This is
Just show
I'm
it.
embarrassed. This is like the guy with the sniff.
It's his sniff.
You get in there. I don't know.
Get it up there. Get
Nah.
in
I don't
there.
know if I get that far in there, though.
Oh,
You do.
my friend, you do.
Oh, no.
See, you're being cautious
you're
right
being-
there.
Yeah.
No, come on.
Go back and watch some of your
Go watch
videos,
the
man. You
old
get it up
stuff.
in there. You get it.
Come on, I learned from the best.
That's right. Don't let him forget it.
So
Wait, hang on. This is a Happy
Fruit beer.
Accidental Fruit Ale. What's the Abival on this?
with
it's
the Bob.
got to be. Yeah.
I don't know.
The definition of beer, according to Google, is an alcoholic drink made from yeast fermented malt flavored with hops.
There you go.
So
I don't know what the process is for these though.
no, but
And they do have a
fake.
percent. They have a very small percentage of alcohol in those.
if you read the back,
They're
it
not
says
zero.
of the one you were talking about, the Heavenly Body Golden Wheat. It does say,
Heavenly bodies.
and I think this is probably. I wonder if this is from legality here. It does say miraculously balanced between flavor and lightness. And here's the part: near the beer from heaven. So they don't say it is beer. They say near beer. Maybe they have to because maybe They can't say it's beer if it's not beer.
I'm in between not caring and just not giving a shit. Can we move on?
I think this is a great conversation because
Lay in the fold.
I pretty much want to
Not caring and
say
not giving a shit.
fuck NA. I mean, just don't drink NA. Just drink water. Or drink
That's true.
beer.
I mean, there is hop water.
Yeah, drink hot water.
I haven't tried it, but
Drink water, drink coffee, drink beer.
and
And
whiskey.
occasionally a Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or whatever
Whiskey.
tickles your fancy. But
Whiskey.
A splash of whiskey will
There's,
help.
I
Okay.
have that bottle
All
of
right.
Whistle Pig I haven't even opened yet.
Ooh, let's open it.
It's downstairs. It's too far to walk.
Let's just get hammered.
Right.
So I was going to ask a stupid question.
This actually isn't bad, but although it is,
there are
like
no stupid questions.
it's like I'm drinking a Jolly Rancher, but it's not bad.
Is there anybody?
Wait, hang on a second. He said there's no stupid questions. Is that what you said?
Well, I wasn't on the show last time.
yeah. You haven't met Jake. You don't know who won enough.
So,
What the hell are you looking at?
well, this is a Rainier beer babe fridge magnet. I looked up Rainier beer, and the first thing that came out was a
I so wish I could show your screen
Rainier
right now.
beer babe fridge magnet. And let me
there's
tell
a,
you,
there's a babe right there, very scantily clad.
it is not appropriate for
She has-
Sean's 13 to 17-year-old age.
She has ooze
range.
chocks of
I have
blonde.
0 viewers in that category.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
we're fine.
right,
We
of
can do
course.
that. That's
Okay,
fine.
we're
Yeah.
good then. Let's then show my screen.
I can't.
And then it's scrolling down, and the funny thing is these
Been on
are
that page a long
these
time.
are fridge magnets. So like, who is putting these magnets on their fridge?
guys who do not have children.
I guess I'm just old with kids.
You are. Old
But
with kids.
there was a time when I did not have a whiff and I did not have kids, and I didn't really care to collect even sexy fridge magnets. I didn't have
Yeah, that's a
fridge
good call.
magnets.
You had posters?
Yeah, I probably had posters. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, my stupid
I
question.
mean, you don't get fridge
was-
magnets until you have kids to put art on the fridge.
I'm just saying, like, who is buying these? Who cares enough about fridge magnets but still can put this up on their fridge, which is basically porn?
Well,
Is it straight up? Is there straight up nudity on it?
there's side boob.
Well, look at this one I saw.
Who gets excited by that anymore? I mean, let's be honest.
Real side boob? I love real side boob.
Well,
I
if
mean,
it's
really,
in real life.
the thing I like the most right now is when you get the under boob. Oh man, that is just
Really?
gets my season going. But yeah, I love side boob. That right there, like I think that's a nipple. There's a dark shadow.
He's like zooming in on the picture. Is that a nipple, MC? What was your stupid question?
He's gonna get his eye right. He's gonna get the magnet,
Yeah.
put his eye like right on it. I think I see it.
pinch zoom.
I'm gonna order one of these magnets and just slip it on
is
my
this,
fridge and see what happens.
Just tell the wife it's for research purposes only.
It's
Gotta
okay.
see what the market will bear.
I can't find the other. There was another magnet that was even more scandaloso. But my question was: is there a place for a company, small, large, nano? I don't know the size. I mean, if we were to start our own, we'd have to build out. But is there a space
If we were to start our own, it'd be
for
like
somebody
below
that
nano.
all they do is contract brew for other people?
Yes, I just said
Yeah.
that. I just fucking
Like
where the
who?
fuck have you been? I just said that.
Like, but nothing else.
damn.
They
Yes.
don't have their own.
Yes,
Nothing.
Yeah.
yes.
That's genius.
I mean, if Brew Detroit didn't do their own thing, that's what they'd be. I mean, if they didn't have that
Well,
that experimental system, that's what they would just be brewing everybody else's stuff.
every guy you,
don't-
but didn't you guys, everybody you mentioned, have at least some sort of their own product that they spent some effort selling? Is there somebody that's just purely like,
There are some out there.
We
I
have-
just don't know the names of them. But yes,
we're
there
not
are some out
selling
there.
anything direct. All we do is contract for other people. That's it.
Well, but didn't is it Brooklyn Brewery? Isn't that who has the big B?
Yeah.
That's their logo. That guy, he didn't. That was all contracted out.
Yeah, before.
Like he didn't have his own brewing facility. That was all another brewer, a contract brewer was brewing all of his stuff. So who, there's got to be the inverse where it's somebody that's only doing the stuff that other people send them to do. But it has to be to really fine specifications. So it has to be really exact.
But still, think
It's a
about all the
contract.
things you don't have to do. I mean, you don't have to market. You don't have to really worry about distribution.
you just have to do all the work.
Well, you
You
have,
have to do all the work and make sure it's up to the specification that you signed the contract to do.
True. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can purely focus on having a facility of manufacturing beer to the request. to the contract.
But you have the most cost. You've bought the equipment. You have the facility.
The equipment, yes. But
I mean, the reason.
But that's a sunk cost up front. You're not doing ongoing like marketing every year.
No, it's true.
And they're buying the ingredients for you.
Probably.
You're talking about a six.
And they might be, I'm sure, paying you up front, or at least there's at least half up front. Maybe that's what we do, Adam.
Look, no, the way to do it is the way that Trent is doing it up at Bridge Up.
See, I don't know about that.
That's the way to do it.
Trent is awesome, but
That's the podcast coming out this coming Monday, which by the time this gets out, it won't matter because it'll be last Monday.
yeah. Cool.
We talked to Trent from Bridge Up Brewing in Door County, and he has a
Sturgeon Bay.
very small. I mean, I don't even know if you call it a nano. It's probably less than that. I mean, he's basically brewing in a closet inside of a restaurant.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, like a storage room.
But the cool thing about it is that we are going to go up there and brew a beer with him that we get to name.
Oh, nice. No shit.
So we're going to brew a beer. He told us we get to pick the beer, whatever you want to brew. We go up there. We're going to brew it with him. I think we're doing it at the end of July.
That's what we're targeting.
Yeah.
Or was it the first weekend of August?
Nah, whatever. End of July. Okay, whatever. End of July, and
It matters.
and we get to name it, and so it'll be the first Bearded Hops beer. So that'll be fun. But he's a really interesting guy. Like, great info. Like, he's kind of living the dream on a very small scale.
Yeah, and it was awesome because you talk to him and you get his story, and it's like he was more or less, like a hardcore home brewer, and he moved back to Door County where he had grown up.
Ooh,
and
that's tart.
he was looking. He moved back there without like his sort of job. He just knew he wanted to be there. He wanted to be plugged into the community.
That's where he grew up.
He wanted to go home. I said that. Thank you. See,
Same.
it goes both ways. Dick. And he got into a conversation
You
with
say it's where he grew up? It's where he grew up.
restaurant owner. Did I tell you that Trent grew up there?
He grew up there.
I
And
heard he grew up there.
did you hear that?
He wanted
I
to go
heard,
back.
that's what I heard.
Did
wanted
he
to go
already
back
hear
home.
this show?
He wanted to go back home
So he went home.
because that's where he grew up.
That's where he grew up.
But he
Will you get on with the story, damn it?
he gets into having a conversation with
Will you tell him the part about where he wanted to go home?
that was looking
Because he grew up there?
looking
He
this,
grew up there, yeah.
and what were they doing? Like this restaurant
Just
owner
keep
was looking
interrupting
at doing
You know
some
what I've
sort
heard?
of
You know what I've heard?
What
is
did you hear?
You can't go home again.
That's what I heard. But he did.
Oh,
But Trent
What?
did it. Well, he grew up there, so he wanted to go home.
yeah. Well, you can't go home again.
Can you tell the story, please? God damn.
he grew up there, but then he remembered there's a bunch of assholes that live there, and then he just left again.
Can't go back.
That's what I heard. Can't
go
go home
home.
again.
I got a question for you guys. So
I think you're
I hate you guys.
You never even finished.
Never even-
Keep going, Sean.
No,
Keep
no,
going.
no,
We
let-
don't want to hear what he has to say.
All I was gonna say is this is basically a glorified home brewer who had a conversation with a restaurant owner who wanted to buy some sort of like washer dryer that sits on top of each other that makes
It's Sturgeon
beer.
Bay because that's where he lived.
but he couldn't go home again.
Right.
But he was just so passionate that that the guy was convinced you're the man and offered him the job to start building this basically brewery out of his restaurant. And all of a sudden Trent was like, holy shit, I got to go do some research. And he like flew to California, talked to some contacts he had in Minneapolis, and worked his ass off. So anyways, exciting story.
That was a
Don.
great story.
But really the moral, the lesson is
You can't go home again.
No, you can go
Oh,
home.
you can.
You can go home.
All right. Sean,
I
please.
love that story.
Sean, please save us.
All right, so I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So Founders does this. They do these mothership series releases. They're taproom only exclusive releases. They sell out usually very quickly. You can usually go and buy as much as you'd like. They did. They reissued their Founders Imperial Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. They did this release called Panther Cub. It sold out really quickly. Like in the first day, it was crappy weather. They released this beer called Mucho Lupu, which I did a video on yesterday, but it's their description. They basically, in a nutshell, describe it as this juicy IPA, like their take on a juicy IPA.
Okay.
So juicy, hazy, juicy
Oh man.
IPAs have shown up all over the place, right?
Yeah.
We have Bell's with their official. That's a hazy IPA.
But not juicy.
That's not juicy. And they have Founders. They have their Mucho Lupu, which is a really limited release, but they call it their take on a juicy IPA. So before I get kind of into the conclusion of this question, well, I mean, it'll be like a sidecar to this question.
You're gonna bring us back home again, where you grew up?
I am. I'm going to bring it back like a comedian.
Yep.
I'm gonna follow. We're going to come back to
Bring it back.
to the root of the whatever. What do you, when you see juicy on a beer label these days? What do you expect?
I expect a juicy flavor, whether that be orange, tangerine, grapefruit. That would, because what I figured out is hazy just means you're not going to see through it. It's an IPA that didn't get clarified, pretty much. But juicy to me, I'm expecting a sweeter, juicy flavor.
Well, and usually it'll have, when you view it in a glass, sometimes it might look like, well, it depends if it's a variant, but it might look like orange juice almost.
Right.
Like it has a hue to it.
But even the hazies do that too.
The hazies,
but you're saying the hazies are
do, but
paler.
but it's more opaque. I feel
I
like
got you.
the
I get what you're
juicy.
saying.
It's like I got the pulp, like it's just.
But that's like the Bell's one. They only on the can it only says hazy, right? It doesn't say juicy on the can, does it?
Right.
Right.
Yep. Do I have to drag the can out again?
Yeah, you do. You do.
Okay.
I've had it. I just don't have the can, but it's just as hazy. So
Bring the can back.
it's pretty much just it's an IPA, just not run through.
So this Bell's is the official. It says hazy India Pale Ale, pungent American hops combined with wheat and Pilsen malt result in a smooth, aromatic, juicy
See, that's where I think they're wrong.
IPA.
There's nothing juicy about that.
Usually
IPA,
juicy, you're getting right in the name, right there in the can. They're talking about what type of, is this a mango? Is this
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like there's something up
because
front.
that Bell's official, there's nothing juicy about it.
No,
Right.
that is not juicy.
It's an IPA that's just hazy. That's what it is.
Well, and wasn't it officially approved that hazy
it's
is
an official, yeah.
is a? But I don't know. Is juicy official?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Is
All right. So
England
to answer your question,
official?
There he goes.
BJCP, the guidelines, they say it's juicy, hazy IPA. So it's both. They throw
So they
both
put in both.
into each other. So let me read you the
I
description.
don't like that.
Color is straw to deep gold. Clarity is low to very high degree of cloudiness is typical of these beers. Starch, yeast, hop, protein, and or other compounds contribute to a wide range of hazy appearance within this category. Perceived malt, aroma, and flavor. Low to low medium malt aroma with and flavor may be present. Perceived hop aroma and flavor, medium high to very high hop aroma and flavor are present with attributes typical of hops from any origin. Perceived bitterness low to medium, and then fermentation characteristics, body, additional notes, grist, and etc. May include a small amount of oat, etc. So Mucho Lupu is their hazy take, their juicy take. It was like a West Coast IPA. And I had somebody who commented that when he thinks of juicy, when I think of juicy, I think of it the same way you guys do. I think of it being sweet, orange juice or some kind of juice-like in appearance, juice-like in taste, mouthfeel, etc. But he says, he sees so a lot of people just don't like that adjective, obviously, for one reason or other. But he says, when I say juicy, I mean hop juice or a beer heavy in hop resin. But when some of his friends say juicy, they mean like orange juice.
Right. So I have heard people refer to juicy as in the hop resin, right? I've heard people say, "Oh, it's a juicy IPA."
Would that be like old school? Is that like somebody that's been in the game a while?
I don't know. I mean, before hazies were around, you would see sometimes on IPAs that it was juicy, right? But yeah, I don't know.
I think in this day, it's like juicy. You think of as a New England style,
right?
Where it's sweet,
Whereas
not a lot of bitterness.
Has like grapefruit usually, or or an orange,
mango, or orange.
Yeah.
And see, when you read that definition, yes,
there's no mention of fruit in it.
There's not, and there is some parameters, but it also is to me is somewhat of a large range there, sort of a spectrum. I would even go so far as to say it's a little bit ambiguous, meaning that you could basically call all of your hazy, juicy IPAs such. I don't know that you could get.
It's really nebulous. It can be anything.
But
It
really,
can fit anything you want it to fit.
but that only matters if you're putting it in to be judged somewhere.
True.
No, it really does. Like technically, if I'm not putting this beer into a competition to be judged, I can call it whatever the fuck I want. It could be black as night, and I can call it an IPA, even though it's probably a stout.
And you could say it's juicy.
And I could say it's juicy.
True.
But if I'm going to be taking it to the Great American Beer Festival, it's going to be judged. Then I have to fit to those guidelines in order for it to be judged under that category. So there's nothing, like we've always said, there's nothing keeping brewers calling something what it is.
But if I was just trying to sell beer, I may just call it
I will say it's juicy as hell.
a hazy, juicy, MFer just to try to
Hazy-
net the most
Right,
people
exactly.
interested as possible.
Hazy, juicy, bitter, sweet.
Yeah, this is one I wouldn't want to see. So sometimes they graduate, maybe after a year, it might take 2 years or whatever, they graduate these Mothership Series beers out into their own thing, or sometimes it's beers that have been brought back. So they have a beer called Cerise, which it's basically Rubaeus, but with cherries. So Cerise was released this year. Founders Imperial Stout was something that they did last year. This was a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, so it's a little bit different.
Tell Sean. So I have a buddy that
they retired for this year, but
is he breaking up on us?
Breaking up.
yeah, I lost you there for a second. So I have a buddy that
Oh, I was just gonna say I got a buddy in GR and he's talked about Mothership Series. Do you have to be on a list, or do you just show up that day and get in line?
no, it's a line, but it's only in Grand Rapids and now Detroit because they're tap room exclusive.
Yeah.
So you have to be there to get it.
So is it one of those where like shit, only the first 100 got it, or if you get there and you wait, do you have a pretty much good chance to get it no matter where you're at in line?
So when they did the I don't know which one came first. They did Panther Cub, which was I believe a porter, and they did Founders Imperial Stout, and the one that was most recent, which I think may have been Panther Cub, but I know in Detroit it was like just a crap day. It rained like the whole time, and there were people that were walking out with cases. You could buy a case, you could buy two. I think they had a limit. So I think the limit was a case, and there were people walking out with cases, and the last people that had been waiting for, however long didn't get it. And it was a big, on Facebook, there's a Michigan craft beer enthusiast page, and it was a big, to do over a lot of people waiting in the rain for multiple hours and not getting anything. I don't know.
That's a
how
dick
Grand
move if
Rapids
people
was.
are walking out with cases.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, it kind of goes back to a lot of these, I don't know how big they are for you guys, but there are places here that do Mug Club. So when they do a can release, they do the Mug Club gets an hour early or whatever.
Right.
And they have allotments, it's like you can only get so many 4 packs or whatever case or whatever it is. And it's like a lot of the places that do this have a lot of hype going in behind them. So they know how much they're brewing, and then because they can tell you the allotments, but is it, maybe we're getting off on another subject, or I'm getting off on another subject, but it's like, when do you limit the people you can allow in your Mug Club? Because you want the public to get it too, right?
Well, like three sheeps in
I was just going to
Sheboygan,
bring up Three Sheeps.
they have a barrel age club,
They do.
and they limit how many people they allow into.
Well, it's full now. The only way, and
It's been full for the past few years.
You can't get in unless somebody gets out. Nobody's getting out.
Yeah, at this point, you can't get in unless somebody gets out.
Yeah.
I think we got offered to get
bowl's
into it
full.
last year, and we were like, meh, and then we missed the opportunity. But
Did we? Did you get offered?
Uh-oh.
but it's like $250 to get in
A year or just in general?
a year.
Wow.
Oh, that's good beer, but damn.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I think Founders Mug Club is 100.
Yeah,
100 a year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Annual.
I could be wrong. It may have been $250, maybe $150. But either way, I was like, eh.
The ones that bother me are the Mug Clubs that they go for the calendar year. So if you join in May, you're only good until December 31st.
Ugh.
And they don't lower the rates until like August. It's like, I'm not going to join in April for $80 and it's going to be the same price I could have gotten in January. That's ridiculous to me.
Well, I will say though, with the club, and if they paid, and if they get some special access, I'm okay with that. But if they made enough beer that people are walking out with cases, but yet they left some people that have been waiting for hours in the rain without getting a bottle, I mean, I think that's a mistake.
I think with
I would
with
be like,
Founders Mug
fuck
Club,
you,
I don't think
Founders.
they make any differentiation for those Mothership Series releases if you're a Mug Club member or not. You might get advance notice. You might get told like, hey, we're going to start selling this. But like with Founders, they do ticket releases for some of the, for not for the Mothership, but like KBS, for CBS, they do ticket releases. So you buy a ticket like CBS, you might buy a $75 ticket or $50 ticket or whatever, and you get two bombers of CBS, and that's what you get. For the $50, it costs the same amount as if you got two bombers, but you get an exclusive. You get it ahead of time, or you get it the day it releases, and you're guaranteed as long as the tickets don't sell out. And then last year, I know I bought a ticket for CBS, and I went down to Detroit to get to their tap room to pick it up. And I had coincidentally, I don't know if I talked about this with you guys last time, but I went to get my haircut at this place that was a couple cities away. And the store, the same day I picked up my CBS allotment for $50 or whatever it was for the two bottles, they had cases like, chest level of CBS. And it's like for cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, now, are people still doing this for CBS and KBS? Because
CBS,
I can go to Woodman's right now.
You used to have to try to get CBS.
Right.
I was at Founders in late March, I want to say it was, and I had their food. They do have great food there.
That's great.
And you go to their...
Much better than Bell's. Bell's food is horrible.
You go to their, little... If you're looking at the place from the front, to the right of it, they have this adjacent, connected beer store.
Yep.
And... rows and rows and bottles and stacks. I mean, you could make a fort out of the CBS.
I was at Woodman's in Kenosha, and they have the big bombers of KBS still. Then you go back to the back, they have KBS in the cooler with everything else, and they have boxes of KBS still sitting on the side.
Yeah, so I don't know if they'll do that with the Mothership series, but...
Well, the Mothership series won't get anywhere, right?
But they could if they wanted to.
He's got his own glasses. He has DraftTherapy glasses.
But I see that.
What an asshole!
I know. I'm pissed at him because I'm jealous. So, dick. But maybe they will. I mean, because clearly they're producing more. I love that picture. More CBS than they ever made before. I mean, at what point are they just going to be too greedy to not?
Well, the thing too is, you can go. They might sell out on all the shelves when, let's just say, like for a theoretical kind of debate, that they sell out of all the stuff on the shelf. But then miraculously, so 2017 was notoriously hard to find here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. I got tickets. I drove to Grand Rapids, like I said, 2.5-hour drive each way. Picked it up, brought it home. I buy the tickets because I want to do the videos because I get a lot of traffic from it.
Of course.
But, mid 2018, or I'm sorry, when 2018 drops on the store shelves, all of a sudden, all these stores have 2017 too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the same here.
Yeah.
It was the same. Actually, it was the same with Goose Island as well. When we went on a beer hunt for Goose Island, we walked into a store.
That's right.
We walked into a store that was selling 2015, 2016, 2017.
Well,
like what the hell? Where did all this come from?
We walked by it, and at first we didn't even notice. It was like, oh, it's branched out. Like, we're looking for variants. And then we did a double take. We're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I think it was my wife. My wife's like, hey, that's
2015?
2017. Hey, that's 2016. We're like, what?
Well, we have a local beer store, Beer Bazaar, that we're fans of, and we've talked to the owner a couple times. And one thing he said was, the Founders distributors are a little bit like dealing like with mafioso type. And it seems like every time they're pressing you for a sale, like, well, if you just buy,
if you sold some more solid gold, or if you
just buy
sold more
20 pallets of solid gold, I bet I could dig out a 2017 case of CBS for you. Like they always got that shit in their little distribution warehouses.
Yeah, there's a local place that I go to, and one of the barrel aged releases, I can't remember which one it is. One of the ones I know I went to the tap room to pick up. I was like, "Hey, when are you going to get this? When do you think you're going to get this release?" And he's like, "I don't know. If I'm going to get it." He said they sell to the Myers, they sell to the Krogers, they sell to places that are big accounts. Even though this place probably sells through founders like crazy. They sell to the ones that do the most volume, regardless of if it gets the most traffic or not. You know, it's like Meyer is going to get a crap load of it. Of course, the Meyer I live by doesn't get anything. It's like the worst craft beer section in any Meyer, like in a 20-mile radius. But the one in Ann Arbor, which is like 25 minutes from me, they get everything. So
yeah, and see, for us, the Meyer here, it's been kind of hit and miss. There's been times where it's had, like with the Revolution,
they'll hit, but it's a small amount.
right? It won't be
It's a
good. Yeah, it won't be a
amount.
large amount. Yeah,
Adam, there's a
like if
Meyer.
you're there at the right time, you'll get lucky. But if not, you're screwed.
There's a Meyer that I go to when I'm when I'm visiting my parents and my siblings. It's just north of Grand Rapids, like 10 minutes max, if that. And near an area called Ada, and it is their craft beer section is fucking awesome.
yeah, it's got to be
Their craft beer section is like bigger and better than even us going to just craft beer stores around here.
Well, it's the same thing if you go to
like
the
kicking ass.
if you go to the Costco in
And people just
Kenosha.
walk in there like I'm gonna get my like.
You go to the Costco in Kenosha, they got nothing. If you go to the Costco down in Lake Zurich, it's craft beer galore.
I never go to that one.
I mean, either. But they have craft beer galore. And a buddy that lives down in Barrington says that's where he goes every single year to get Goose Island brand stout first.
And it always works out.
He's every time. He gets it before me
Why
every
don't-
year because he goes to Costco.
Just give me one. Damn.
My sister-in-law lives in this city, Rockford. It's just outside it. It's probably like 20 minutes from Grand
That's
Rapids.
where my Rockford there.
No,
My sister's in Rockford.
Michigan. I know Rockford. Michigan.
Michigan.
Go ahead.
They have this store. It's called Rick's, and it's a grocery store. And I guess it's not. I don't know if it's like not very well regarded or whatever. They say it's not the greatest, but it's like 5-minute walk from their house. And I go in there, and there's stuff that I can't get from local breweries. I can't get here, and they have like pallets of it. It's just a grocery store. The founders stuff is pallets when they do like Dankwood or some crazy, barrel age series thing that people seemingly don't like. They have just piles of it. And when I go there, I make sure that I stop at that store and pick up singles because they sell a bunch of singles from all these breweries around the state that I just can't get where I am. I mean, it's distribution, but it's also the abundance of beer in certain areas that, I mean, I don't know if it's competition here or if it's that there's just abundance of choices, for them. But it's crazy how just going to the other side of the state, they have piles. They can't get rid of it. And here we're like getting in fist fights at craft beer stores to pick up one single bottle of something.
I mean, do they have
Sunset
bad
Food in
data?
Libertyville. Sunset Food in Libertyville the same way.
Yeah.
I hardly ever go there, but I've been there twice, and I've been amazed at what they have in there.
But is somebody looking at some shitty ass data that says like our pocket up here is just a shit place to push craft beer?
They have a good distributor. That's the thing that gets me about the distributors. It's like it is almost like the mafia where they can hold this shit back. They don't have to.
Somebody needs to get fired at our local supermarkets. They need a different beer guy working there.
I mean, Benny's, unfortunately, is one of the better places to go. They're just so big. It's just hard to the good one's hard to get to.
We doing this? We need another beer. You want this?
This thing is so tart.
I told you not to open it.
Like it hurts.
You insisted on.
Well, the other one was a piece of shit wheat. What are you doing?
Well, that's why I brought it. I didn't want to drink it alone. I was like, let me share this. I need something else because I just got like this. I like that residual sour when you've had a good sour in your mouth, especially like a tart sour. But this, I just need to get this out. All right, I'll go rinse these.
We're moving to Unsettled by Central Waters. Central Waters, when we were up there, said they were going to be releasing that Tangerine New England IPA, which was really good. But I haven't seen it anywhere, and I really want to get it. So it was very, very good. They're supposed to be coming with a double of this called Very Unsettled or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But what'd you got? What'd you move to?
This is it's called Dub Tropical. It's a double fruited goza. It's from Holmes in Ann Arbor. I was just looking at the Brewdon date. This is pretty old. This is July 23rd, 2018. But I have a full-size fridge that I keep a lot of this beer in. So it kept pretty well. But the label on here is Crop Top Flip Flop Dub Drop. So, and I think they just not re-released, but they just had this in the tap room again. But it is, didn't say a percentage on here.
Ooh.
I don't think it does.
It's good. I like it. Yeah, most of mine are in the garage fridge, which is the big, but I run out of room there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I have a little wine fridge up here that, well, long story, but it's a two-sided wine fridge. You know, you can
See, Adam brought it
Right.
home, and
the house got struck by lightning, and it killed 2 of my TVs.
yeah,
And it killed one side of that fridge. And so I unplugged it, put it in the basement. We bought a new fridge, didn't think anything about it. Then we set this up, and I'm like, well, one side of it works. I'm going to bring it upstairs. And now both sides worked, and it has worked ever since. So,
Yeah, my brother-in-law
That's my
does. He has,
poured very well.
I don't know, connections with some of the local stadiums. So he but he gave me this fridge that's one of those has glass doors on each side of it,
oh, yeah.
like a vending fridge, but it's like for a top at a stadium. So we have one of those, but I have a full-size fridge that I feel like I just put all my beer in there, and it's like, just, set it and forget it. And then I'm really popular at all my friends' parties because I bring all the beer because I just have all this extra stuff that I have to get rid of.
It's funny, every time my wife and I go to the grocery store, we usually do our grocery shopping on Saturdays. And I remember this Saturday we were walking up to the car to go, and I was like, we're not buying beer this weekend. Okay, yeah, no problem. We came home with like 3 6-packs. We're going to buy beer this weekend.
That's good.
It is. I mean, we got so much beer out there.
Yeah, I only go to places now that I can buy singles from.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love the singles,
There's just not too many.
but we don't have a lot of good options here.
I've only got like maybe 3 or 4 stores within a 20-minute driving area that I can get to that'll sell me singles.
Because like Woodman's has a great selection,
But they
but
don't
their
do
single selection sucks.
Yeah. Just like what's that, Eagle Liquors off of Peterson Road?
They don't have
like,
hardly any singles.
they have a great overall selection. Even Antioch Liquors, they have a pretty good craft beer section. Singles section
What's
sucks.
funny about both Eagle and Antioch, if you go to their single section, look at the dates. It's
yeah.
some old ass shit.
their
in their
old-ass
single
shit.
section.
Like, let's see who was going to buy
So the
this.
place we love really is Beer Bazaar, because everything in there is single. Even if it's in a 6-pack in like their cooler, you can take one off the 6-pack and buy it as a single.
Yeah.
Everything is single.
Love that place.
Yeah. He just doesn't always have everything. And actually, it was funny. I went in there shortly after Revolution released Death Star. And I told him I just picked up Vanilla Death from Libertyville. He's like, you did? I was like, yeah. I saw that they tweeted that they had some. I drove over there and got it. He's like, he got mad. He's like, I got to talk to my distributor. He said there wasn't any anywhere. He was like, I'm pissed.
You got lied to.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen I don't know, I know that you talked about the growth of the craft beer industry, but have you guys seen anywhere locally, either be it a beer store or a brewery itself, that's kind of started, they've had to either close or reduce anything?
Actually, we have the opposite. So Beer Bazaar is actually moving to a bigger location in Grays Lake. Down the street from it in Grays Lake, though, is a 2-story
Yeah.
beer bar, craft beer bar, essentially. That's actually it's like
Built.
they pretty much took down the building and they're building
Yeah.
a new building there.
Plus, there's a brewery there that just moved into a larger location. Like the Lamp.
Oh, Light the Lamp just moved down the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I wish we had more Beer Bazaar type stores.
Yeah.
That were the bottle stores.
There was an awesome place in Grand Rishi's. Have you ever been? I can't remember the name of it. But my brother took me there. That was another one in GR that was basically Adam like Beer Bazaar, but like 5 times as big.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
everything is single bottle.
My wife and I have been discussing for years opening a bottle shop.
Oh, with the tap?
Yeah.
With a couple beer. Oh, that, yeah.
There's still that one place in Grays Lake that's still hasn't been leased yet. There's a great place. It used to be a garage, a car garage, mechanic.
Right.
that has like the huge open doors on both ends, and it has and the side lot is huge, so I could see like putting some like nice patio type thing out there, so you can do it outdoors. You open the garage doors and you have
maybe get some food trucks going.
Yeah.
There's a place in Detroit that
I'm rich. I should do it. I don't know why I'm talking about it. I'm filthy rich. I should just do it.
That's right. You should.
Yeah.
There's a place in Detroit called 8 Degrees Plato, and they had 2 locations. They had one in Detroit and one in this kind of up-and-coming area city called Ferndale. And they closed the Ferndale location because it just wasn't – I guess it wasn't making – it wasn't doing well enough business. But the Detroit one is one of those ones where you go in, they have a back bar that has, 20 different taps of this really kind of crazy, rare stuff from around the state and out of the state. And they get a lot of stuff from West Michigan that no other store gets. It's like exclusive to this specific store because they don't have a distributor, and they'll meet halfway, or they'll go to the brewery and they have their own little like transit van that they'll pick stuff up and they'll bring it back. They've done collaborations with these West Michigan breweries. But yeah, so that was one where it was like, oh, that's kind of odd. You'd think craft beer is, pretty much blown up, that it's odd that they would close a place like that. That was the Ferndale location didn't do as much of that. They had like a lot smaller of a selection, but then a local place, they've recently like a bottle shop changed ownership. We have a couple breweries here in the state that are one in Ferndale as well. Called Axel Brewing. They've done a couple. They do their own football club, like a soccer team, and they did all this beer that was pretty much exclusive to the soccer team, to the football club, and they're closing down too. So it's kind of, I think we have like over 350 breweries, and it's always seems like every city is getting a new place or somewhere close enough to everybody is getting a new brewery. But it's kind of odd that these few places have been either shrinking or shutting down. So I was just wondering if it's the same out by you guys.
Well, there's a story on Brewbound website, brewbound.com, about how craft beer sellers, or the franchise are closing down, and a lot of the franchisees are suing Brewbound or suing the beer seller franchise because basically they were misled.
Yeah.
And the projections that they told them were wrong and stuff.
It's unrealistic.
Yeah. So, I've only ever been to the one up in Wisconsin. You told me about the one that was amazing out in
I love
in
the
Michigan.
one in Grand Rapids, craft beer cellar. And then when I was just in St. Louis about a month ago for a wedding, I was in Clayton, which is just west of downtown St. Louis. And in walking distance from my hotel was a craft beer cellar. And it was hopping. There was people there. They had a great, they had probably, maybe 10 things on tap. People were stopping in, like even families having like a beer, leaving. Of course, I was like that weird guy that was like walking around the store, scanning everything, becoming best friends with like the guy that works there, trying to figure out what's there that I couldn't get at home. I was there way too long, but I didn't have my family with me, so I just got to like. That's the thing. I'll be out with my family sometimes, and we'll drive by a place that my wife knows because she's learning. Bless her heart, she's really paying attention because she's a better person than me. So she's like, "Hey, why don't you run in there? We're here. Just go do it."
Right.
But only stay for 5 minutes.
Right, but then it's like I'm in there like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. My phone's blown up, and my wife's like, "The kids are going ape shit in the car. What are you doing?" Like, honey, this is a process. I can't just walk in here and grab anything.
Drive him
and
over to
walk
Chuck E.
out.
Cheese. Come and get me later.
Go.
Supermarket sweep to go get all the beer cans you need.
I can't push a cart through as fast as I
Yeah,
can.
my wife got used to the fact that if I say I'm going to Beer Bazaar, she's not going with me.
Yeah,
because I'm not just going to go in.
But
and get
that's
out.
fun. I don't know. I for me.
Well, I told her, I explained it to my wife as it's you going into a clothing store,
right?
Because when we go shopping together, and I got to go get a shirt or whatever. I this weekend I told her, I was like, look, I'm going to walk in the store. I'll know within 5 minutes if I'm getting something or not, and then I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, you can't. I was like, no, because she walks in there, touches everything.
Yeah,
Looks
every
at
square foot
everything.
of that store.
I can walk in the door, look around. No, I'm good. I'm out, and I can.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Half the time, even if I do see something, I'll be like, I'm not trying anything on today. Fuck this,
Right.
I'm out.
I feel bloated today.
What size do I wear? All right,
Give me a
just buy
t-shirt.
this.
But I walk into a beer store. Yeah, I'm touching everything. I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, especially if I can like drink while I'm doing it. I mean,
Oh, geez.
yes, please.
Oh yeah.
Better than home at that point.
The other beer store in the area that's really starting to rival Beer Bazaar is at Libertyville.
That's a great spot. Yeah, and I was in there earlier this year, and there was not that women don't drink beer, but there was a group of women having like an outing there. Like they had a section marked off. They were sampling beers. It was like a part of some event they were doing. I was like, this place is fucking awesome. Like,
Well,
look at
my
this.
wife is part of a craft
Like, people are
beer,
holding events here.
a craft beer for women Facebook group,
Hmm.
and it's only women in there, and they all,
How do you know it's just women?
well, I know, but
I mean, let's
it's
be
kind
honest.
of funny. It's kind of amazing sometimes. She'll come to me and say, "Have you heard of this beer?" I'm like, no. It's like, well, the women on the Facebook group were talking about it, and you look it up and you're like, oh, okay. So women are getting into it. It's one of those demographics, though, that craft beer is just not hitting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this new glass fruit beer women would like.
My sister-in-law, she loves IPAs, like the chewier, the resiny, more resiny, the more bitter, the better. And it's like at the time when we started kind of drinking, when I started kind of realizing that she was into it, that wasn't what I liked. I was, that was like the furthest from anything that I liked. And it's kind of funny because now I'll try something and, having the channel and doing, drinking all these different beers, doing obviously 200 and some, or 100 and some videos a month or a year. It's like, oh yeah, I've tried all these different beers. So it's kind of like, oh, hey, maybe you should try this one. And sometimes she'll be like, no, I don't like it. Or she'll say, well, that's a really good beer, but it's really weird that she was way more on that kind of bitter kind of IPA tip than I ever was.
Yeah, my wife used to always say that IPA was her second beer. She'd start with the Coors Light, and then the IPA would always be her second beer because it was too bitter.
Yeah, prime the pump.
But not now. Now she's straight, especially the hazies and the juicy. She loves if it says hazy or juicy on it, she'll buy it. She's always grabbing those.
It's marketing.
Right, but she loves she
Thank you.
loves barrel aged stouts too. So she's definitely changed. Thank goodness. 'Cause that means I can spend more money on beer.
Are Heffenweisens coming back?
I hope so.
They need to be.
Yeah,
I feel like I've
Kolsch's too.
more Kolsch. A lot of breweries seem to have a summer Kolsch this year. Yeah.
The Hefe, the Kolsch, I love both. Gosas are good too. What's that? I can't read it. It's too far away from me.
Oh my guava.
Yeah, a pink guava Kolsch.
Yeah.
This is really good.
The Central
Kolsch
Waters
is
Kolsch.
underrepresented.
Oh yeah, the Central Waters Kolsch that we had when we were up there was
That was good.
very good. Their Brute New England IPA, which I still want to try.
You love the Brutes.
I do. I want to try and brew one this summer.
Ooh.
I'm actually looking up right now a Tangerine IPA, New England IPA, to brew this within the next few weeks.
Don't tease me.
I'm tickling your fancy.
Something
We need to brew because I have a whole bunch of
What do you got?
I have a whole bunch of flame out stout sitting down there that needs to be gone so I can brew something else again. Take it all home, damn it.
I'll take some of it home. Wasn't Chad just drinking that last week?
Yeah. Yeah, we did a home brew. When did we do that? That was a while ago.
It was. I want to say we did that in December,
Was it December?
and it was ready in January.
I know we did a
We did it mid to late December.
we did a home brewed a stout. We called it flame out because the flame went out during the brew.
We don't know how long.
We don't know how long it was out. We don't know when it went out, but it went out.
We never took the temp.
Never took the temp.
Just fired that.
Mistakes were made.
We don't
but
know how much.
It,
Best way to do it.
Yeah.
it tasted
Stumble
good.
through it.
But like Trent said on the last podcast, he's like, you can never replicate it again.
We'll never
No.
be able to recreate it. It was pretty damn
Don't
good
have no
beer.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, every one of our home brews are based off of something that went wrong during the brew.
Mm-hmm.
What do we call the one where I burnt my leg?
Oh, we did have a name for that.
Can't remember. I got like 3rd-degree burns on my leg.
Your leg was.
It was
nasty.
toe up.
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
Did we tell you that story, Sean?
That was bad.
I heard it. I heard.
Man, that was bad. I still have scars from it. And actually, still to this day, I'll have phantom burn pain on my leg every now and then. Where
Really?
I feel like my
Can't sleep.
Where I feel like my leg's like burning again, just like a few seconds. And I was like, oh, what the? And you have to rub it, and it goes away. But it's really weird.
Huh,
But
you
it-
never told me that.
But it's funny. That day when that happened, I just sat down, I ate, and my wife's like, "That looks really bad." I'm like, "Nah, it'll be fine."
Ah,
A neighbor, like 2 doors down, her husband's a fireman and she's a nurse, and she comes over, looks at it, and she goes, "What the hell is wrong with you? Get your ass to the hospital right now. That is serious." I'm like, "No, it's not." She's like, "I'm serious. Go." I go to the what is it, the urgent care room. And they're like, "Oh my God, what the hell happened to you? When did this happen?"
about 4 beers ago.
I'm like, "It was about a week ago." She's like, "Holy shit."
Yeah, you did wait a little while to go in.
I know. What you gonna do?
Yeah, we had a name for that.
Yeah. It wasn't burnt flesh, was it?
It was not burnt flesh, but it was burnt something.
Yeah.
Might have been burnt ends. I don't know. It was a good beer, though.
Burnt tips.
Yeah.
Smells like chicken.
Yeah. Good times.
We could probably recreate that.
No, it's not your leg this time, not mine.
I'm too fragile.
You are. All right, we're almost 2 hours in, so anybody who's listened to this already gave up like an hour and 30 minutes ago.
Well, if they came from my channel, you might get an hour and 14 minutes. Or so.
Yeah, our channel, we had short attention span, just like us.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll go home. Who knows?
They'll go home, is that what you said?
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool story, bro. Oh, man. Well, Sean, thanks for hanging out with us and just shooting the shit and drinking beer.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Draft Therapy is the place to find his stuff and look at his impressive beer and watch how he shoves bottles up his nose.
That's right. And use this draft
Yeah, picture.
therapy tea class.
Fancy ass. He's got sponsors. He's just not telling us. That's what it is.
This is all unfortunately sponsored by my wallet.
I know, right?
I used to be rich. I'm not rich anymore.
I know. Yeah, we got this new stuff, and somebody had said to me, "Oh, that's cool. So you're making money off the podcast?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah, right.
absolutely not. This is all self-funded."
No, I kind of actually feel bad because I've started monetizing my videos and putting ads. Nobody said anything about it, but I kind of feel kind of bad. But you think of all the sunk costs, of all the money you've put into it.
Yep.
It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I got like $14. That's what I've made so far. So, maybe in like 100 years, I'll get I'll be able to buy my camera.
We've actually been discussing doing Patreon.
Yeah, I've set that up. I don't know if I can keep up with what I would actually say, like the goals or
Right.
the rewards are.
We haven't set up the rewards yet. That's why I have the account. We just haven't talked about the rewards or
Yeah.
anything.
Well,
like
we've
that.
talked about what they could be.
Yeah, we just need a rich sugar.
Nobody
mama.
wants what we can afford.
Jake, go find a nice cougar out there that's rich and sleep with her and get us some money. All right?
I'm married.
It's for money, dude. It's not love. It's
Your
just,
wife would understand.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
for money.
she'll totally get it.
We'll
I'll talk to her tonight. I'll
We'll
I'll
get
wake her up when I get home.
We'll get Chad to do it. He's a slut. You
do
can say
like-
that because he's not here,
I do like that M43.
even though it is true.
That's a good beer.
But M43 is a good one.
Yeah.
Are we going to finish this? Or look, there's an ad. He just got an ad on
I
Draft Therapy.
just saw the
Ha
ad.
ha.
YouTube Red.
You
I know. I have YouTube
Slut.
Premium, so I don't see ads. I can't deal with it. Ooh, man, that's a very short beard in that one. How old is that video of him?
Which one is it?
The M43.
Old Nation.
Oh, that was like the third or fourth video.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here, but you look terrible with the short beard. Don't do that.
I know.
Yeah, you
It's
look
horrible.
much better now.
Yeah.
Can I
that's
just
horrible.
date your shows by how long your beard is?
You can. Yeah. I mean, unless I do like the 4 in one night and fall asleep at my desk.
He
You
wakes
should
up.
be all right.
He wakes up. His beard's all the way over here. That's the problem I had when my beard was long. I'd wake up with the bed beard.
Oh yeah, it's all you got to take a shower.
Yeah, they're like,
Regardless if you took one at night or 6 weeks ago, it's like it's
Right.
always got to
Like,
be.
damn
You
it,
got
I-
to see anybody.
I do not want to take a shower this morning, but now I have to because my beard's in
Yeah.
my eyes.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Does it do that?
I've woken up before when it was much longer. It was like just plastered up on the side of my head like this. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, you got to hit that flow. So you gotta take a shower to kind of let the water hit it. And
Yep. I've tried actually doing it in the sink. It doesn't do it. You have to do it in the shower.
It's like, you know, if you get like, if your hair grows a little bit longer and you get that bed head, like you get the corner of your hair or something that's stuck on the pillow, you can use the faucet and stick your head under it and do whatever but it's not going to, you got to get in the shower. It's like the ultimate like reset button.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I haven't grown hair in about 20 years. On my head. It all grows onto my chin, but none of it grows on my head. Speaking of showers, though, side note, then we can go. But my wife gets to Iowa. She got a new job, and she's been flying out there for training. And the hotel she's at has no hot water.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, the whole hotel?
The whole hotel. And there's like...
That's kind of a deal breaker.
There's like 10 or 15 other like new hires that are in the same hotel with her. And she knew before she got there this time because she'd become friends with one of them. They text her, said, just so you know. And so it was the second night. They still had none. But the office had a gym with showers in it. So like after training on the first day on Monday, they all went back to the hotel, got their shower stuff.
To the office gym.
Yeah, they did. They all got back on like the hotel shuttle that took them back to the office to go to the hotel gym to shower. I was like, oh,
at that
man.
point, I might just do the cold shower.
She said she like did like the bird bath where she just used the sink, but she's like, I need to wash my hair.
Oh, my wife told me there's the horse bath.
Yeah, that's WB.
Tits, clits, and slits or something. Where you just do the sink.
That's a little bit too advanced for me, but yeah, you're just pits and other
tits,
crevices.
tits, and slits. That's what it is. I'm not making this up. This is a thing.
All right.
I've heard of it.
I'm not.
Jake's
woman
done
told
it.
me this.
Jake's done it many times.
Yeah. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta stay fresh.
You really should watch your
Right.
you watch your slit a little bit more. It smells.
Getting those wipes.
those wipes, the man wipes.
Man wipes.
All right.
Well, let's.
On that note,
once you get to man wipes, you know it's over.
once you're talking about slits, we should probably cut it off.
It's a horse bath. Here, I'll Google it.
Well, I'm sure Chad's done it many times.
Why is there a video of Wisco Boater here?
You search horse bath and Wisco Boater comes up. That'd be awesome.
On the tugboat.
On the
tugboat.
Yeah, it just got like a
Have
bowl
you
of
have
water.
you seen his tugboat?
No, I like I said, I went back and listened to a few episodes, the older ones.
If you go to
Greg Avola, that's when I heard about the tugboat.
If you go to Wisco Boater on YouTube, you'll see one of the few latest ones where he put in the water for the first time. He keeps telling us that all three of us can get into that, but I swear to God,
is like
if all three of us get into that thing
We
is
will
going
sink.
down. It will sink. There's no way the three of us can get in that thing together.
He just wants you all to get in it, so he has another project for the next season of Wisco
pretty
Boater.
much.
That's
swear to you,
exactly
when
what
we
he
get
is.
in and it starts sinking, I'm just gonna stand there and just salute as it goes down.
Yeah, if you just watch the his Friday morning beer review, it smells like Bean Spirit.
But the Wisco Boater one is pretty funny because you see I think it's his dad holding the camera at one point with his finger in front of the lens.
Perfect.
So funny. It's either his dad or his girlfriend, one of the two, but somebody's holding that camera. There's a
matter.
finger right in front of the lens. And he's got that loud ass horn on that tiny ass boat.
He does have a big ass horn in that thing.
But he built it all from scratch. It made I couldn't do it, so.
No.
All right. Well, I'd play the outro, but
you broke it?
yeah, but iOS 13 kind of fucked that up. So, can you sing it for us, Jake?
We're the three best friends. Is that? I don't know.
You just fucked it
Anyone
up.
ever?
Never mind. You suck.
Why don't you sing it? You're the guitar player.
Nah, yeah, I don't sing.
You don't dance?
No, I do dance, but not for you.
It's the only thing about you. All right, let's go.
It's like, where's this going? All right, goodbye.
Yeah, I don't sing.